Hello, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's time for the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I'm glad you're with us. Thank you for being around. About 6 minutes after 3 o'clock this afternoon on this Thursday, August 20, 2026. Thank you, each of you, for spending a bit of time with us, whatever amount of time you're able to give. We also appreciate you communicating with us, dialing us up on the telephone or on the super text line, and giving us your opinion on the news of the day, 615-737-9986. You may do so early and often, 615-737-9986. That's the telephone number. That's also the super text line. You can hit me up on a variety of social media platforms. I'm on the old X machine, as I call it. That's at Matt Murphy Show, MattMurphyShow, at Matt Murphy Show. Like and subscribe any of those platforms you find us on. We appreciate you doing that. And you can find us on a variety of different locations outside of the radio dial, 99.7 FM. Of course, we're on iHeart, TuneIn, Spotify, just to name three. We're on many, many different apps. If you're on an app that delivers news, talk, or information, and we're not there, let us know. We'll get there. We are also on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. I don't know what the status is on Talk TV because we got a lot of moving parts going on as we get the show lumbering under our own weight early on this Thursday, at least early for us on this Thursday. When I say we've got a lot going on, you might note that we have no Ken Weaver this afternoon. Ken was here. Ken had to take off. He had to leave on a personal matter. And we're thinking about him. Everything, I think, is fine as far as I know. Everything's going to be okay as far as I know. He just needed to attend to some of the home fires, and he is doing so. And in as much as we love Ken and love his family, we appreciate him and are thinking of him and praying for him, and hopefully everything works itself out. And I trust that it will. So Ken had to depart early. We'll shift over to ABC News. Jay Harper, who would normally fill in for Ken, is filling in for Joan in the morning. And so Mason will be on traffic this afternoon. We'll shift to ABC News at the top of the hour, no news at the bottom of the hour. That means more me. And who doesn't like more me? I mean, I certainly like more me. Mason, not so much fan, apparently. Well, I mean, you can lengthen those traffic reports. I mean, if the last several days have been any indication, those traffic reports will be pretty lengthy one way or the other.
Yeah, they've been kind of all over the place. Like
this morning,
crazy. So much rain.
Yeah, a little bit crazy.
30-minute long.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, man, the last couple of afternoons, well, I guess not yesterday afternoon, but Monday and Tuesday, man, oh man, I-65 was the epicenter of a lot of nastiness with regard to roadway conditions and traffic accidents. So anyway, we'll keep you up to date on that front with Mason Fleming. Obviously, no Ken Weaver, as I mentioned, but ABC News will carry us at the top of the hour. 615-737-9986. I feel like there's a lot of stories that merit a follow-up. You know, we try to be honest with you on the show. Sometimes there is major and breaking news. Sometimes the news cycle dips a little bit, and you've got stories that are lingering out there that perhaps merit a follow-up, but don't merit, a full-throated hour or whatnot. But I got a number of those stories on the docket today and a number of stories that I've not been able to get to over the course of this week that we've meant to get to. One, who is Jerry Green? I want to dive into this. So we now have the primaries behind us. We are a week and a couple of we're 2 weeks, I guess. 2 weeks beyond the primary in Tennessee. We now know the candidates that will be asking for your vote. We have a little bit of a respite. It reaches a fever pitch in terms of radio advertisements, television advertisements, digital platforms. They're everywhere, all of the craziness. I was talking to Johnny Garrett the other day. I was at the Burgers and Brews event in Crossville. That's Cameron Sexton's event, and I was talking to Garrett, and we were joking around. I actually got to see Johnny's wife, and I was joking around about her having to wash all of those rainbow flag-colored T-shirts as appeared in one of his advertisements. Obviously, I was joking, but I was like, man, oh man, that must be tough on the old washing machine. You gotta monitor the amount of bleach and whatnot that you use, lest you fade out some of his beautiful transgender shirts, his T-shirts. I'm talking about this Van Hillary ad that ran against Johnny, and ultimately, I think it helped Johnny Garrett. It did not hurt Johnny Garrett. That's just my take on it. One way or the other, we now know that Marsha Blackburn will take on Jerry Green. She's the Democrat opposition. and now Senator, soon to be Governor Black. I mean, I don't think I'm going out on a limb predicting that the Republican's going to win in that race. She will be taken on and guarantee that there will be a female. I mean, lest you believe that the independent candidate running, what is his name, Hatley, lest you believe that Hatley is going to somehow eke out some miraculous sort of victory, which isn't going to happen. You can expect that a female, and it's going to be Marsha Blackburn, will be the next governor of the state of Tennessee. The first time a female has led the state of Tennessee, the 51st governor. But I think it merits, Jerry Green's going to get a lot of attention from a lot of media outlets, and already they're trying to soft pedal her rather leftist position on a lot of issues that I think are of importance to you. And so I thought it was maybe an important opportunity for all of us to look at who Jerry Green is and what she stands for and what she's all about. So we'll do that at some point over the course of the day today. The green-shirted petition people that we have been discussing these many weeks regarding their effort to get enough signatures to get a measure on the ballot for next year in Davidson County that would eliminate racing as a Metro Charter-approved use of the facility out there, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So you've got all of these petitioners running around in green shirts, and many of them are lying to the people they're trying to get signatures from. Well, they are now playing the victim. So I want to walk through exactly how all of this works with you. The green shirt restore the fairgrounds liars, and y'all, they're lying to people. Their managers are lying to people. The individuals that are paying their salaries are lying to people. Mike Kopp is lying to people. John Ingram's lying to people, and all of the folks wearing the green shirts, I don't necessarily blame them. They're being paid to lie to you. They're being told what to say. They probably don't know that it's a lie themselves. So all of this lying has got a lot of attention, and the attention is largely negative. And so as a result, people that are encountering these green shirt liars that claim they want to, quote unquote, restore the fairgrounds, which is a big lie in and of itself, they're now getting some pushback, and some people are going a little too far. There have been some clipboards that have been thrust to the ground. One person, I think this is hilarious, took the clipboard to, quote-unquote, sign their name, put down an expletive on the clipboard, and then just threw the clipboard on the ground. And, of course, the green-shirted Restore the Fairgrounds folks are trying to play the victim card. Oh, no, there's mean people that are being mean to us. Well, what do you expect when you're lying to people? Davidson County judge, this from Fox 17, has issued temporary orders of protection against a Nashville public affairs operative accused of stalking and harassing petition canvassers working to ban auto racing at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Citizens Against a Racetrack. I thought it was Expansion. A citizen group in Nashville is gathering petition signatures aimed at adding affordable housing and prohibiting auto racing at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I'll have that story for you from Fox 17 in just a moment. It's hilarious. So you throw a rock, hide your hand, you get caught at what you are doing. People naturally get upset because people naturally don't like liars and the lying lies that they tell. And as those people get upset, you start screaming the victim card. How dare you get mad at me for lying to you? Well, play stupid games and win stupid prizes. We'll share more of that with you coming up in just a couple of minutes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 6173 has chimed in and said, 2 days in a row talking about the Nashville Fairgrounds. Benson just had the guy from the Fairgrounds on now. Third day you're going to talk about the Fairgrounds. Yay. I'll talk about a lot of things today on the show, 6173. I assume that the person you're talking about is the person that I hooked up with Chad Benson, and that's Norm Parton, who's been on our show many times. Norm is a voice in favor of the Bristol Motor Speedway deal going through. You are welcome, 6173, to offer any topic suggestions of your choosing. Otherwise, the host is going to pick the ones that he's interested in. That's kind of the way that works. And and I hope that you're interested in it as well. I appreciate your feedback. We are not exclusively talking about the racetrack today, although I will mention some of the updates coming out of the news cycle, considering that they had a press conference yesterday about 12:30. I was not privy to the nature of the press conference when we went on air yesterday, and now I am. I'm also going to tell you about the movement on the Iranian front. The President of the United States of America has alerted us to the fact that we are moving into a different phase of the conflict, and it's more of an economic D-Day, as he put it. That story coming out of the Washington, D.C. area from earlier today. And then there is another story of quite a different nature, and it is regarding a woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy. And maybe some of you have been following this story more closely than I have. The first I heard about it was, honestly, I was on the X machine at some point and I saw some debate regarding postpartum depression online. And I didn't really understand why we were debating postpartum depression online, but here we go. And so I did a bit of sleuthing on it, and I came to the story that I guess started the conversation, and it involves a woman by the name of Lindsay Clancy. Now, I don't pretend that I've been following the story because I haven't, but I tried to catch myself up to speed last night and early today, and the story has a lot of the same hallmarks of an older story that happened in the early 2000s, I think 2001, out in Texas. And we'll talk, for those unfamiliar with that story, a little bit about that. It's my understanding the redheaded stranger, Pamela Furr, told me that there's a local connection to the Andrea Yates story, that her former husband, Rusty Yates, who lost his 5 children because Andrea Yates drowned them, was from this area, I guess, went to McGavick High School, I think. So a little bit of a local connection. But the story goes like this. Lindsay Clancy, a 36-year-old labor and delivery nurse from Duxbury, Massachusetts, is on trial for the first-degree murder of her children after strangling Cora, 5, Dawson, 3, and Callan, 8 months old. This happened on January 24th, 2023. Following the killings of her 3 children, Lindsay, I guess I'm going to go with Lindsay, Clancy jumped from a second-story window in an attempt to take her own life and was left paralyzed from the waist down. This trial is currently going on in Massachusetts. The defense admits that Clancy killed the children, but argues that she is not criminally responsible because she has postpartum psychosis, bipolar disorder, and adverse reactions to being prescribed to nearly a dozen psychiatric medications in the months leading up to the deaths of her children and her attempt at taking her own life. The prosecution argues that Clancy acted intentionally, rationally, and meticulously, pointing out that she went so far as to send her husband out on errands while she planned the killing of her children, and then she, according to the prosecution, faked her own suicide attempt. You know, contrary to what many of you might believe, I try not to get out in front of my skis with regard to subject matters that I am not that familiar. And I admit that I am not that familiar with postpartum depression and the difference between postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis. I am fairly familiar with the case involving Andrea Yates, and I took what I thought was a nuanced approach to that case. Many people wanted it to be cut and dry when I thought it was pretty cut and dry the other way, that Andrea Yates was mentally insane, and she had demonstrated mental insanity on numerous occasions, so much so that psychologists involved in her situation at the time told her husband not to leave her alone with her children, and sadly her husband did, and she took the opportunity to drown them. And Andrea Yates was Well, I can go over the story for you in just a moment for those who missed it. We'll talk about that today on the show. We'll talk about right turn on red. Apparently, politicians in Nashville, Tennessee are not going to let something, a crisis, if you will, go to waste, or a tragedy go to waste, even though the tragedy doesn't really fit the narrative that they're trying to sell with regard to stopping right turn on red in our city. We'll discuss that. We'll take your telephone calls. Once again, no Ken Weaver today. In the absence of Ken, we'll have ABC News at the top of the hour and Mason Fleming on traffic. Young Jackson Williams is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. How's it going in there, Jackson?
Busy.
Is it busy?
Very busy.
Lots of things going on?
Just getting everything ready to go, brother.
Yeah, well, I love it. Well, you know what? You need a few things to do this afternoon. I wouldn't want you bored in there. I'm sorry that you lost your buddy to talk to.
I know. What am I going to do when you start going on a monologue?
Well, what were you doing just a minute ago?
I was getting everything ready.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fair. Well, maybe we can include you in the, maybe we can turn a monologue into a dialogue today. Yeah. Maybe you can talk to me. You and Ken, y'all have so many great conversations during the day. I feel like I miss out.
You do.
But I'm talking to the folks, I'm mass communicating. 22 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back after this. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. They are affordable, convenient, comprehensive medicine. They treat newborns to seniors. They treat everyone in your family and can do so in a way that sets them apart from every other medical practice in our community. Located in Franklin, in the heart of Franklin, as a matter of fact, convenient to just about anywhere within the sound of my voice. All you need to do is make a call, make the appointment, and get out to Grace Point Healthcare. 599-6868, 599-6868. Whether you pay by the visit or enroll in the Smart Care plan, you'll get quality care and you know exactly what you're paying for it. You get exceptional care at an affordable price. Right now, the basic Smart Care plan for the grown-ups is $99 a month, $79 for the kids. But you can pay that through your HSA, meaning no out-of-pocket expense. Plus, you get unlimited visits to the doctor's office throughout the course of the year, plus free basic labs and diagnostics if you enroll in the Smart Care plan. That's the smart way to go. But whether you're in the Smart Care plan or a brand new patient, they'll get you in jiffy quick. They'll get to see you, figure out what's going on with you, and never will they allow the insurance companies to interfere with their diagnosis and their plan of action. Plan of success, I should say. 599-6868. Once again, Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your biggest investments. Protect those investments with King and Associates Insurance. They cover you and fit your life and your budget. Whether you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, shopping for better automobile rates, they make it simple. At King and Associates, they don't push you into doing anything. They just offer you honest advice, personalized service, and policies that actually make sense for you and your family. They're local. They're independent. They work for you. They don't work for the insurance companies. That's nice, right? Working for you. That means that they're going to recommend the best policies for you without trying to sell you a particular policy because they make more money that way. They don't do it that way. King & Associates Insurance. Visit tkinginsurance.com. That's the letter T, kinginsurance.com, or 329-8121 is the telephone number. 329-8121. King & Associates Insurance, protecting what matters most. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. So a heavy discussion about postpartum depression and when that becomes postpartum psychosis and how that involves itself in this trial that has somewhat caught the national attention, certainly caught my attention as there was a debate going on about postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, and you know, I remember years ago, a good friend of mine, Dr. Josh Claypo from Birmingham, Alabama, who was on my show fairly regularly, is a psychologist. And he told me one time, it was during our morning show with myself and Andrea Lindenberg, he said, you know, a lot of people say that they're depressed, and they mean they've got the blues, and they mean that they're sad, and they mean that they, you know, there are things going on in their life that has them down in the dumps. But we need to make a distinction between someone who's just feeling blue or down in the dumps or, you know, not having the best day, the best week, even the best month versus someone who is clinically depressed. Someone who's clinically depressed, it is a very different situation and can lead to very, very different and oftentimes more negative outcomes. And so I think of that when I think of someone who potentially has postpartum depression. And once again, what I don't know about all of this will fill this entire show and this entire week and another week of shows. I don't pretend to know, but I want to have the discussion because I want to try to understand if the defense in this Lindsay Clancy case has a point. Just to fill you in on some of the details before we get to some of your calls, on January 24th, 2023, Lindsay Clancy sent her husband, Patrick, out to pick up food and medicine. And when he returned, the house was quiet. He found his wife injured on the ground outside, discovered his children inside the home in the basement where they had been strangled. Family members, a nanny, and medical records presented in court show that in the 4 months leading up to the tragedy, Lindsay suffered from suicidal ideation, intense anxiety. She wanted inpatient and outpatient psychiatric help. Expert witnesses and defense attorneys are detailing how she heard commanding voices instructing her to kill the children and herself. Her ex-husband, Patrick, testified that he had forgiven her and believes that she was consumed by illness. The trial in Plymouth, Massachusetts, nearing its conclusion. Closing arguments expected soon. I don't have an opinion on this case. At least as far as I understand the case. I would have to follow it a little more closely to be able to offer you an opinion on whether or not Lindsay Clancy would fit the definition of someone who was not in their sound mind. But it did remind me of the Andrea Yates case from back in 2001. And I did follow that case a little more closely. Andrea Yates had multiple nervous breakdowns, multiple suicide attempts, had hospitalizations in psychiatric hospitals. And obviously, this is just an awful circumstance, and people want to see justice in circumstances, especially when people die, especially when children die. So Yates and her husband had several children. By the time of the birth of their third child, they were living in Houston, Texas. And then they had a fourth child, and Yates, who had depression over the years, had her depression resurface. In 1999, she was found by her husband in a state of confusion and just in a basic state of psychosis. The next day, she attempted to take her own life by overdosing on pills. She was hospitalized and prescribed antidepressants. She repeatedly, and I don't share all of this to belabor it. It's just an awful tragedy that perhaps should have been flagged. And I understand hindsight is 20/20. But she had repeated nervous breakdowns, repeated suicide attempts, psychiatric episodes, and hospitalizations. She was diagnosed with postpartum psychosis. She and her husband were urged not to have any more children. They had another child, a fifth child, and she seemed to be doing better. She stopped taking her medication and went into a downward spiral that eventually led to the murders of her children. They were living in Houston, or a suburb of Houston, where after her husband left for work and before her mother got there, it was advised to her husband and to all of the family members that Andrea Yates not be allowed to be alone with the family or alone with her children. And sadly, Rusty Yates left for work, and his mother was scheduled to be there about an hour later. And so they were handing off the kids, but Rusty had to get to work. Mama was a little bit late. And in the hour between the time, or hour or so between the time that Rusty left and Rusty's mother, the grandmother, the children got there, Andrea Yates took the lives of her 5 children by drowning them. Just a horrible case. Just horrible all the way around. And in a way, anyone that's willing to do this sort of thing has to be crazy on some level, but are they criminally insane? Are they criminally liable for their actions? And I'm reminded of that case in the modern example of Lindsay Clancy. I don't know the answer. I guess I'm looking to be educated on this front, because at the time I didn't, and I took a lot of heat for this. My examination, at some point, some people are crazy. And some say, well, Andrea Yates knew what she did was wrong because she called the police. And she did. She called 911 after the fact. And she then called her husband and told her husband he needed to get home after she did what she did. But I believe that Andrea Yates was and is crazy, mentally insane. And in our system of justice, we classify those who are mentally incapable of doing right, when even if they understand it, they're incapable of not doing the things that they do. We separate those people from criminally liable individuals. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. 615-737-9986. It's 34 after the hour. I am late. We'll be back in just a moment. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk. Did you know if you're already a U.S. Pest customer, if you refer a friend or a neighbor or a family member, you can receive a $50 credit on your account or a free mosquito, tick, and flea treatment? What a great time of year to do that, because mosquitoes are out and about and they are biting, friends. At least they are down in Mount Pleasant. I mean, when I'm out there and the mosquitoes are out there, I don't call it Mount Pleasant. I call it Mount Grumpy at Murphy-Lago. Well, you can get the grump out of your life by getting U.S. Pest in your life. Protection begins with U.S. Pest. Obviously, they want to help you with spiders and ants and ladybugs and silverfish and roaches and spiders and spiders and spiders. My goodness gracious. Termite protection, 100% money-back guarantee on preventative and corrective services. Every home in Tennessee is threatened by termites. You need to make sure that you don't have an issue at your home by calling U.S. Pest, 590-1260, 590-1260. Call our friends at U.S. Pest or go online. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. U.S. Pest. Tell them I sent you to the one and only U.S. Pest. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy. I'm very, very excited to tell as many people as possible about my friend Dr. Catherine Beckman and her new clinic, the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. Many of you are making the call, and I'm so glad you are. Did you know that 1 in 8, that's about 13% of Americans, suffer from some level of dry eye situation? And it comes from a variety of issues. There's a million different causes, but the bottom line is this. If you have constant dry eyes due to medication, or maybe your eyes are not producing the tears that they need, it can be not just a nuisance, it can be absolutely debilitating, and is for some people. Do you think that you just have to live with it? Because that is not true. Dr. Catherine Beckman can help you out with that. She specializes in what is known as ocular surface disease, which causes most types of dry eye or irritated eyes. So if you're tired of trying those over-the-counter medications, if you're not getting relief, make the call and schedule the appointment today. Relief is right here in Cool Springs with Dr. Catherine Beckman and the Beckman Dry Eye Institute. Tell them Matt sent you. The initial consultation is right around the corner, 629-230-3161, 629-230-3161, or BeckmanDryEyeInstitute.com. Hey, good for I don't know who this fella is. Maybe we should endeavor to try to get him on the show. His name is Matt Calkins. You see this? He is now a former columnist, sports columnist for the Seattle Times. Don't worry, I'll get back to the issue of Clancy and the comparison between Clancy and Andrea Yates coming up in just a moment. If you have any thoughts on it, 615-737-9986. I'd love to learn, and I would love to hear from you. Matt Calkins, and I don't know, I think it's Calkins, Calkins, former sports columnist for the Seattle Times, said, after 11 years as a sports columnist at the Seattle Times, I've decided to resign. It was entirely my choice, not an easy one. The impetus was the Times deciding not to run a column I wrote from the perspective of two female student athletes who were opposed to competing against biological males. It was one of several pieces of mine that have been spiked, and I no longer felt I could properly do my job as a columnist. I lay out the situation in greater detail in the link, but I want to say I enjoyed my time with the paper, find the talent there to be immense, and have no animosity toward anyone who works there. It was just time for a change. This guy is about to get hired. I think Clay Travis, who's starting his new sport in state, has already reached out to him and said, you sound like a guy that I would want to work for me at my new publication. Come on over. And I think that would be a great fit. This is what we're talking about. It's not a matter of debate for these liberals anymore. It's a matter of putting your thumb on the scale and pretending that there is no debate. When 80%, at least 80% of the American people agree with people like Matt Calkins or Matt Murphy or common sense, that in order to protect biological females and their sports that they endeavor in, you have to prevent biological males from participating in those sports. Otherwise, they will eventually be destroyed. So there's that going on, and I'm watching that story. And maybe we can get Matt on, soon to be, formerly of the Seattle Times now, and soon to be eminently employable by anyone who wants a good sports columnist that's not afraid to offer an opinion that perhaps is outside of the mainstream of the subject matter that he's discussing, or at least outside of the woke cancel culture DEI mainstream in the industry in which he serves. Sad but true. In the meantime, hey, Jeremy wants to know if there's something wrong with the radio signal. Static in Mount Juliet and Gallatin. I don't know. Sometimes we work on it and they have to go low power. So every so often that happens. We are a 100,000 watt blowtorch from Kentucky to Alabama and all points in between. But if they have to work on the tower for any reason or be out at the transmitter site, they have to reduce the power in half or sometimes even more than that. And that can impact that. So if that is the case, I apologize. Join us on the app, iHeart, TuneIn, Spotify. We have our own app, SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Dan Mandis is now on demand on the app, thanks to Matt Murphy. You're welcome, Mandis. You're welcome. I saw Dan. You see Dan today? Looking good, wasn't he?
I did.
Yeah, we were recording the Mostly Peaceful podcast.
He was in a hurry.
He was in a hurry. He does not dilly-dally after the finish of that podcast. He endeavors to, as they say, get the old HE double hockey sticks out of here. Good podcast, though. Mandis was amazed when, so just a little preview. Mostly Peaceful drops Saturday morning. All the Best Words drops Sunday morning. Mostly Peaceful is Chris Hand, Dan Mandis, and Matt Murphy. All the Best Words, Matt Murphy and Cameron Smith. And I appreciate you liking and subscribing both of those things. But, so we, about 10 minutes into the podcast, Jackson, Hand and I started talking about the benefits of not allowing women to vote anymore.
Oh, I'm sure that went lovely.
And so we're just having this discussion about it. And, tongue is, somewhat, well, not even that Hand nor Matt Murphy agrees with this premise, but the conversation surrounded groups of people, mostly men, that legit believe that we should deny women the right to vote in America. Believing that we should repeal the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. And Dan is sitting there, and at one point he says, are we seriously having a conversation about this right now? I was like, yeah, this is real. Dan couldn't believe it. Anyway, check out Mostly Peaceful. That drops Saturday morning. But we were discussing that. And I forget why I brought it up. I can't remember why I brought it up. That's where I'm at today. In the meantime, that's why I brought it up, because of the radio signal. So you can find us on iHeart, TuneIn, Spotify, our own app, SuperTalk 99.7 WTN, where Dan Mandis is on demand. That's why it came up. And then, of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Find episode 1101 on all of those different platforms, The Matt Murphy Show on SuperTalk 99.7 WTN. The general consensus thus far on this Clancy case is that the pharmaceutical industry ought to be on trial as well. Big Pharma should be held somewhat responsible for all of this. Several of you are asking, Mario writes in and says, Matt, do you think the husband is somewhat responsible because he knew she wasn't right? TB says, if you want to blame the husband for not doing anything, it's a pretty high bar for proof. A quasi-equivalent might be the bartender law that holds a bartender culpable for continuing to serve someone who's inebriated. So where I'm at at least on Andrea Yates, I'm not holding Rusty Yates criminally responsible. And I would suggest to you that there is I don't know Rusty Yates. I don't know where he is now. I don't know how he is living his life. But I would be willing to bet you that there is nothing that the criminal justice system could do to punish Rusty Yates more than he has already been punished regarding not seeing the warning signs or doing things differently prior to Andrea Yates killing her 5 children. So I don't for a second believe that Rusty Yates should be held criminally responsible, because obviously, how could I suggest that he should have foreseen it? At the same time, I would say that looking back on it, hindsight is 20/20, and there were many, many warning signs. And I am certain that if Rusty Yates had to do it over again, he would tell you that he had made mistakes and he would do things differently. Now so if that is him sharing possible blame for things that he did not do prior to Andrea Yates' act, that's fine. But I don't want anyone to think that I'm suggesting any sort of criminal liability on the part of Rusty Yates. I wouldn't do that, just as I wouldn't suggest that there's any criminal responsibility on the part of a bartender that serves an individual and they're overserved and eventually they go out and get in an accident and kill someone. I'm in Hartsville and I hear you coming loud and clear. That's awesome. I just passed Mount Juliet on I-40. No issues here. Writes in 6593. Loud and clear in Coffee County. I love it. But then there's 9440 who says, static up in Gainsboro at the base of the plateau. Well, you get over there to the plateau. You know what they say about the old plateau? Causes static. That's what they say. They have for a long time, too. 48 after the hour. More of your calls on this matter. And when we get back in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll talk about Jerry Green and the governor's race that is about to heat up in the state of Tennessee. Right now, I want to take an opportunity to speak with our good buddy Mark from over at the Safe House, because there's a lot of deals going on at the Safe House that you need to know about. What is going on, Mark?
Matt Murphy, good talking to you, as always.
What's happening, brother? You doing all right?
It's hot, and the sales are hot here at the Safe House. We've got rebates, closeouts,
I like that.
Liberty safes.
Yeah.
People need to come get them a safe.
Talk to me about these Liberty closeouts. What's going on?
Well, we've actually reached a pinnacle of Liberty dealership. We've been fired by Liberty twice. And so we have reached a pinnacle that no other dealer has reached. We've been fired by Liberty twice. So I'm liquidating all of my Liberty safes. So we're going to be a Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, Rhino dealer. And
I love it.
Goodbye, Liberty.
Well, I love that. But you know what? Mark getting fired from Liberty means he's passing the savings along to you. Liquidation.
Oh,
sale.
my goodness. Yeah, it's up to $1,000. And when they're gone, they're gone. So don't hesitate. Come down by a safe, even if it's not a Liberty.
Well, I love hearing that. And I know that you've had some pretty good Browning rebates going on this summer too, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Through the end of the month. $400, up to $400 on all Browning safes. And Fort Knox, I always joke about Fort Knox is never on sale, but you get one of the best safes on the market for when you buy Fort Knox. And
you guys have a better selection of Fort Knox safes than anybody else in the Southeast, right?
In the Southeast, yes, sir. You're correct.
And I like to, when I talk about Mark and his team at the Safe House, I like to extrapolate that, right, and say, well, the Southeast is the leader in the United States of America in gun safe sales, and so by extension, you would suggest that if you're the leader in the Southeast, you're going to be the leader in the United States of America. And I would go one step further, Mark, and say, if you're the leader in the United States of America, you're the leader in the world. And if you're the Fort Knox leader in the world, that means that you are, at National Safe House, the #1 seller of Fort Knox safes in the universe. In the universe.
Well, I would say Browning. So yes, I would like to say that, but that would be Browning. We are the largest dealer, Fort Knox dealer in the U.S.
Well, there you go. So, that means the universe.
Yeah, so we sell lots of safes and vault doors, and we would like to thank all of our customers for making that happen.
Well, I mean,
we couldn't do it without them.
Well, your customers are awesome. Will they still see Donald Trump when they walk in the lobby?
They will, and of course, Joe Biden and Barack Obama are in the closet. We kind of sequestered into the closet. But if you do want to see them, well, I'll be happy to open up the closet and let you see them.
There's some people that have said, hey, there's some people that tell me that Barack Obama's been in the closet for a lot longer than you've had him in there.
Well, that's a whole different conversation, but we digress on that one. But yeah, we do have Trump. Support the blue. Red, white, and blue, all America. America, baby.
You know what I love about our listeners is that while we're talking, Mark, somebody just wrote me 6063 wrote in, and unsolicited by me or you, they said, "Don't let a crackhead or an illegal immigrant install your safe."
Hey, my job is done here. I've been saying that for years, and finally, people are listening, and it's true though. Don't let a crackhead or an illegal deliver your safe.
Well, it is true because in all seriousness, these people they're in your house. So, do you want to try?
No, and then they tell their crackhead buddy, Billy,
right,
to come down and, hey, Matt Murphy just bought a safe. Go get his, stuff. And then they have your combination, and that's a recipe for disaster.
And absolutely. And so you want to work with somebody that has professionals that are employed by them that deliver the safe, and that's what you get at Nashville Safe House. That's why you don't want a crackhead to deliver your safe. You want somebody like Mark and his team.
For 34 years, yes, sir. That's what we've been doing.
Brother, we appreciate you, and I appreciate everything you do on 4th Avenue South, right across the street from the infamous City Cemetery. Or you can go online, NashvilleSafeHouse.com. You got what about 200 in stock right now, right on the showroom?
203.
203. How many you got back in the warehouse?
608.
Boom. That's what we're talking about. A safe of every size, every shape, every price point, every fire rating right there at Nashville Safe House. Mark, God bless you, brother.
Thanks,
I appreciate everything you do.
Care.
We'll talk to you. There's Mark in the Safe House. Go take advantage of these rebates. And once again, this liquidation sale on Liberty, Mark can tell you the backstory on Liberty. But once they're gone, they're gone. Liberty, might be a hassle to work with, but good safes. And you can take advantage of some barganos. 53 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Let's talk about the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They've been here for some time now. Evan Bass and his team got here in 2014, started their business in the middle of Nashville. They've grown by leaps and bounds because they provide good, solid medical advice to men who are in need. Urology-based approach to your ED needs, your low testosterone needs, whatever it might be, they can assist you. Here's how it works. If you've noticed diminishment in your energy levels, if you've noticed that you just can't get around like you used to, and if you've noticed that this has manifested itself in bedroom activity, friends, you don't have to live like that. You can live better. You can get back in the game with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Now, they warn you off these websites and these pills that come through the mail, and you don't know where they've been. You don't know what they do. Trust the qualified urologist. No, by the way, it's less than $100, $99 for that initial appointment. They'll go over you tip to stern. They'll get a little blood work done. They'll see what's going on inside of your body, and they will offer you a plan of action that will succeed in getting you off the bench and back in the game. Tennessee Men's Clinic. Online, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or 4 locations to serve you, 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you, 58 minutes after the hour. Thank you for being with us. Once again, if you're just joining us, Ken Weaver had to leave a family matter that necessitated him getting home. We think everything's going to be on the A-OK. We're thinking about Ken, thinking about his family, the entire Weaver family, and we're praying for him. But everything should be fine, should be stable. There's, I don't want to freak anybody out, but that's where we are on that. In the meantime, Sherry is on the line with us. Hey, Sherry, how are you?
I'm okay. It's kind of disturbing what we're having to look at.
Well, Sherry, I accidentally looked at the clock wrong. Do you mind if we get through this newscast real quick and I'll get back to you on the other side? I don't want to have to rush you.
That'd be helpful. Thank you.
I would love that because I don't want to rush on a subject as serious as postpartum depression versus postpartum psychosis. I'm trying to learn along with the rest of you. This Lindsay Clancy case in Massachusetts is just, crazy, literally and figuratively. It is 4 o'clock on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Quick timeout, a few news items from the national desk, and we'll be back after it on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Radio Show, 405, 406, thereabouts. Thank you for being with us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Happy to have you. Is that something new that you're doing there? You're fading that a little quick there, Jackson. You know how I like it. You know I like it to just kind of lay in there like a warm bath. Cut it! Here it comes. Everybody say it together. Cut it! Oh, give me that look. Jackson's all grumpy because he doesn't have his talking buddy back there. Ken Weaver had to leave, and once again, we're thinking about Ken. He had a little personal matter to take care of. So we got ABC News coming up at the top of the hour. Every hour, nothing at the bottom of the hour. Yours truly, Matt Murphy, until 7 o'clock tonight. Jackson Williams behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly. But see, that's nice. You all right in there, buddy? You gonna make it? Yeah? Need you a little sody pop?
I'm good.
Yeah? How's things going with you, Jackson?
Busy.
What's on your radar screen today? Yeah, I never ask you that. Jackson, what's happening in your world? You go put your headphones on now.
Getting everything ready.
For what?
I'm setting up each hour.
Oh, so you're actually doing work today.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's my bad.
Normally, I just let the professional Ken Weaver handle it, but we're
in the absence of Weaver, you've got work to do.
I've got things to do. I've got things.
Well, we appreciate your hard work. We appreciate Mason jumping in on the traffic situation, and always appreciate Ken. And we're thinking about him. Everything should be fine. Just I don't want anybody to worry. I think Ken's got a handle on it. It's just a little family matter you want to take care of. All right, so we've been discussing, or at least for the better part of the hour, discussed this case out of Massachusetts, and what constitutes postpartum depression versus postpartum psychosis. Lindsay Clancy, 36-year-old from Duxbury, Massachusetts, on trial for first-degree murder for the death of her 3 children, 5, 3, and 8 months. Her defense team arguing postpartum psychosis. The prosecution obviously arguing that she intentionally, rationally, and meticulously killed her children, pointing out that she literally sent her husband out on errands to give her the window of opportunity to do so. Despite that, family members and others have presented the case that she suffered from suicidal ideation, intense anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And in the meantime, I compared it a little bit to the Andrea Yates case from years ago. This has been like a quarter of a century ago now, 2001, where Andrea Yates took the life of her 5 children and argued psychosis in that case as well. Just some comparative tissue there. Regarding the mental illness, 5676 says, regarding the mental illness of mothers who harm their children, yes, they know the extent of their choices and actions. As you know, I went to court regarding a similar case regarding my mother who discovered late in life had stabbed and burned me when I was young. I went to the wrong one. I don't want to read that one without previewing it because that seems like it's a very personal message. So I want to make sure that I preview it before I read that. Matt, you could say if a woman or anybody doesn't have a job, should not be able to vote, they don't pay taxes. We do not require, we could have a conversation about who should and should not vote in the United States of America and whether or not you should be allowed to vote with having an actual skin in the game. Nolene writes, unless you can demonstrate that Patrick Clancy was an abusive, controlling, neglectful, and you can't compare the two cases, the argument was that Rusty Yates was. If Andrea Yates ever makes it back to reality and actually comes to realize what she's done, she will probably take her own life. I think she tried to do that on a number of occasions. So, all right, Sherry's next up on this situation, and I'm just trying to tread delicately around a conversation that I don't have a lot of experience in. Sherry, thank you for your call today. How are you?
Well, I think we're all kind of disturbed hearing such things. And I know this firsthand because that text message you read, that was me. My mother did stab and burn me when I was a child.
Oh, my goodness.
And it is very personal. And I have recently gone through a court case over my father's estate. I did not know I was his only child. But regarding this woman and knowing my own mother, they know exactly what they're doing. And it's self-preservation or selfishness, an entitlement. I think we take for granted having children is just going to be a fairy tale. And it's not always the case. It's a marriage. It's a relationship. And you bring a child into it. And fortunately for me, I'm a survivor because my father stayed and he dealt with the mental illness my mother had the best he could. But it's their own personal mental illness that they're not treating with truth. They don't want to face themselves or for what they did or why they're doing it. This woman had access to help, medication. Sounds like she had a family support system in her mother-in-law. I don't understand the support this woman is getting for what she done. These were innocent children, regardless of what was happening in the marriage or in the lives of these people. The children had no recourse, no awareness. That was just their parents. And it's the saddest thing to think that a mother would bring a child into the world just to harm it. Or harm all of them. I just can't fathom the support that this woman is getting.
Yeah, I don't understand. And this is actually, it was the inspiration that led me to look further into the case because I saw a couple of things online and I clicked on one of the items that I saw on the X machine and it led me to an article about women outside of the courtroom in support of Lindsay Clancy. And I read the top line of the article and I'm like, wait a minute, this woman is accused of murdering her 3 defenseless children in cold blood, is claiming some sort of psychotic episode, and she has a support structure that it was odd to me. It seemed weird to me.
It says a lot about our society. We just take things for granted. Bringing a child into the world, well, first of all, it's a gift from God, okay? Secondly, it's supposed to unite your family, and it doesn't mean it's always going to be rose-colored glasses, right? I mean, what it is. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And when you have 3, maybe you're overwhelmed, you're supposed to be a team. You're supposed to be a husband and wife. You're supposed to raise a family. That's what you did when you brought a child into the world. That's what you agreed to do. The child is innocent. Those children were innocent. So for people to stand and support this woman, much the way my mother has been supported, no one believed me when I told. I didn't know what I was remembering. I did not know this happened to me until I was 27. 27, I was giving birth to my own son and remembered what it was to be stabbed, to look at that evil in the face as an innocent child, and to recognize it as a 27-year-old woman is the most evil thing in the world. When I was a baby, I didn't recognize it at all. I was just a baby. Horrible things.
How old were you, Sherry?
When that happened to me, when I was stabbed?
Yes.
It is approximated at 8 months old.
Oh, my goodness.
But I grew up at 27, gave birth to my own child, and remembered it. And that was an amazing thing, first off, to remember back that far. And then recently to prove that again in court, I mean, just as much as April this year, I got to question the person that did carry out that incident, and it was confirmed that that had happened. A stunning, quiet sense of what in the world is going on in this world today. Kind of hit the courtroom, but nothing changes. And
this is the difficulty of trying to catch up with it, because on one hand it seems that you have a group, and I don't know if these people just don't have a value for life, or if they genuinely believe that Lindsay Clancy was out of her mind, mentally ill at the time that she committed these evil acts. I mean, they're clearly evil. But there's
Why do we keep calling evil a mental illness? People choose it, and we know it exists. And people
well,
choose
do you
it
believe?
out.
I'm not trying to argue with you on the point, but I mean, evil is a mental illness.
Some people choose it, I think, for their own benefit. It helps them in the moment. I know that my mother escaped for a minute, facing some truth she didn't want out. I was some kind of sacrifice, maybe. I don't understand, but I know what I faced.
Well, I mean, do you believe? Let's just take a step back from the specifics of this case, Sherry, and I think all of us can, generally speaking, ask ourselves the question: do you believe that some people are mentally insane in a way that would require treating them differently than someone who perhaps is criminally liable?
What's involved? I mean, some people are drug-induced, and she's claiming she was, but she hardly touched the drugs that she was prescribed. They didn't. The toxicology report doesn't.
I don't think people. I've talked to enough. I don't think people choose to be mentally unwell.
I think they choose the selfishness of themselves. I think that it's just self-centered and selfishness. This woman had 3 children. She wanted her life to be easy. I'm sorry. No, you have 3 children. Your life's not going to be easy. You're going to be busy every day. I had 4.
Well, Sherry, you clearly have a position on this issue, and you have a lot of very tender and intimate and personal reasons why you take the position that you do. And there are other people that are telling me that, Lindsay Clancy was begging for help prior to all of this happening, and that she did not receive the mental help necessary to help her overcome some of her bipolar issues and some of the other issues. So
I could answer this. When I first got my memories, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was kind of left with that diagnosis and handed Paxil and told to just carry on. Well, I couldn't. And the support for my own struggle was not there. But I still chose to throw that medicine away. I picked up my Bible. I picked up my children. And I decided they would never know what I had to live. That their lives would be different. And with God's help, that's what happened. And you don't have to choose the wrong. You don't have to choose the evil. You don't have to even choose yourself. What
if I? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That taught me to choose God.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I knew that there was no wrong choice in that, because God can't change what happened to me.
Well, and I'm not here to defend. I'm not here to defend this, but I'm very curious. I just when you say that people choose to think this way, or they choose to be mentally ill, I've never looked at it that way. I mean, that would be like me telling you that you chose not to remember that you were stabbed. Did you choose not to remember that you were stabbed?
I did not choose. You're right. But when that occurred, I made a healthier choice. I did receive. I paid. I didn't have insurance. I didn't have anything. I paid out of pocket to go talk to a therapist, and I kept that therapist for the entire time that I needed help, because it was my responsibility now to make sure that I did not let that encroach on my children's lives. That I did not
choose.
Well, I had the choice. It was a choice to make: either treat my illness, my PTSD, or not.
Well, I'm glad you picked up the Bible, and I'm glad you made the choices that you did. And I can just hear the pain in your voice, and I'm so sorry that you've had to endure that.
Sorry for me. feel sorry for the children out there that are not, their parents aren't able to get the help that they need. I'm going to tell you.
Well, I didn't say I feel sorry for you. I said I'm sorry that
women that struggle with the postpartum depression,
Well,
and it is not. There needs to be a place for these, especially low-income women, to go and have someone to talk to. Help me become a better parent. Help me not repeat the cycle. Help me choose something more. That's what they needed. And this lady had the benefit of family. And did they listen to her? They obviously heard her. Were they picking up the children? Were they giving her relief? Was she taking advantage of that? Was she just wanting her life to be the same? I mean, was she realistic about the choices she made in having and becoming a mother? Because we don't stress how hard that is. It's difficult to be a parent. It's not, even with the conveniences that we have today, it's not easy being a parent, much less a single parent. It's not easy to be a survivor. I don't think this world is easy for anybody at any time. But I think that we all have choices to make. And making those choices for the betterment, not for ourselves, but for the betterment of what we bring into this world, That's what I think. I don't think medication is the answer. I don't think the woman was without support. I don't think that she's innocent. I don't think she understands what it was to be a parent. Your life's not going to be the same after that.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to be flip when obviously she didn't understand that. She killed her children.
Yeah. She didn't want to accept the responsibilities of being a mother. She wanted to be a mother for whatever attention or whatever that got her in life. But there is a lot of work involved in being a parent. And it's not just being, when I look back.
Well, but most people I would say that most people that go.
What I want to say.
Yes, and I'm trying to let you speak, but I've got to move along to a break.
Okay.
But go ahead. Finish up.
The men that are married to these women that struggle with the mental illness, hats off to them, the ones that stay. Hats off to the ones that are there for their children. And, that needs to be addressed. Maybe they needed to separate for a while and him take the kids. Maybe he wasn't partnering with her. Whatever it was, men make choices to be the parent as well. And that needed to happen for the sake of those children. And some men step up and take it and run with it, and they become the best fathers ever. I would not be here to this day had my dad left that home. And because he stayed, I watched him change the world. I watched him become a better man. I watched him make a good life for me and for my mother and her son. He was a forgiving, compassionate, do the right thing man, even at his own cost.
Yeah, so I don't know that you're talking. Have you been following the Lindsay Clancy trial?
Not closely because.
Okay, well, because some of the things that you're saying don't really jive with the facts of the case. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm not really speaking about the case in that instance. What I'm wanting to convey.
Well, but you did say that you didn't think she was mentally ill. I think that's a kind of. I think. Sherry, God bless you. God bless you. I can't possibly imagine what you've been through in your life, and I truly wish you the blessing of happiness. And I think, you said it all when you said you pick up your Bible, and that's a wonderful thing. And I appreciate you being willing to share some of those tender moments with us.
Well, I just want to stress that even though the woman is having the struggle or the father is having the struggle, the partner is the one that can come in there and help them through it. My dad, I think, did a wonderful job as a father. And again, that's where men have to step up. They become parents too. And I think when a child is born, they think that it's the mother's responsibility. It's both parents.
I would suggest that most men know that, but
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
I mean, I didn't think that was a particularly out there comment. Sherry laughed at me. I mean, most men know that parenting is a dual responsibility, right? Most men don't say, "Hey, you had the kid, so now raise it." I don't. Come on. 26 after the hour on Super Talk. And thank you, Sherry, for the call. Sincerely, I would encourage you to look a little deeper. And I mean, I have not scratched the surface on the case, but in this case, I mean, to suggest that mental illness doesn't exist, I think it does. That doesn't mean that people don't need to be held criminally liable for things that they do, even if they're under some duress, mental depression, mental illness, or whatnot. 26 after the hour on Super Talk. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy. Craft Body Scan is your one-stop shop for all things body, inside of your body, figuring out what's happening in your body. Do you know? Do you want to know? Folks, it's a difficult task for me to get these fellas out there. That's why we have involved you ladies. And you ladies in the audience, if you got your man and you want your man to make sure that everything's going okay with his lungs, with his heart, and everything else, it's time to get to a couples heart and lung scan at Craft Body Scan. TogetherWeScan.com. TogetherWeScan.com. Promo code MATT50. You put in that promo code and you'll get a $99 special. This is an insane value. But both of you will get a scan done on your heart and your lungs, and they'll check you out and see what everything's going on. Are there spots? Is there anything happening? Are you a former smoker? Want to make sure that everything's on the A-OK? When I got my scan done, I was so pleased because I am a former smoker, smoked between the age of 15 and 32. I quit some 20 years ago now. But a couple of years ago, I went to Kraft and got that scan done, and they said, man, your lungs look great. I was like, all right. I mean, it makes you feel good. So, TogetherWeScan.com, promo code MATT50, or call 615-436-1000. 436-1000. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Craft Body Scan. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and let's talk for a moment about life insurance. I mean, obviously, we don't like thinking about this because it involves thinking about someone that we love passing away. But bottom line is this: if you don't have life insurance and you got kids or you got family members, you need it. And at King and Associates Insurance, they make it so simple with no pressure, no confusion, clear options that fit you and fit your family. 615-329-8121. Let's get it right, Murphy. 615-329-8121 or online at tkinginsurance.com. Let's make sure the house is taken care of, that college is taken care of. I mean, it's really not about you. It's about the family that you leave behind, and that is what it's all about at King and Associates Insurance. Obviously, they can help you with auto. Obviously, they can help you with homeowners or commercial insurance, and they want to help you with life insurance as well. So when you make the call, ask about all of those matters and tell them I sent you to King and Associates Insurance, tkinginsurance.com. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Timberland Cabinets. Folks, the kitchen is often called the heart of the home. At least I call it that because it is. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the best memories that you have in your home are made in the kitchen, where you're baking cookies during the holidays, or you're doing something with family or friends, or hanging out there while something is in the oven. Bottom line is this: if the kitchen cabinets aren't up to snuff, or if your kitchen generally isn't up to snuff, you need to do something about it, and you do that at Timberland Cabinets. Founded in 2005, they have an incredible reputation with high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry. On their mind is their core mission. They emphasize both beauty and functionality in their cabinet design. I've seen it with my own eyes. I walked into the showroom and I was like, I got to talk about this. And I first met Tiny Steve, and I told Tiny Steve that I needed to advertise on the radio about Timberland cabinets. I met Deb to begin with. I take it back. And then I met Tall Steve, and then I met Regular Size Steve. There's 3 Steves over there at Timberland. You can meet all of them when you go to the showroom in Columbia. And I said, man, oh man, we've got to let people know that this is happening right in Middle Tennessee. It's Tennessee folks building quality Tennessee cabinets for Tennessee families and Tennessee kitchens. That's what it's all about. 931-499-7170, 931-499-7170. You're online at timberlandcabinets.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A very interesting call from Sherry, and I appreciate her making it. The last 30 seconds making the most waves on the super text line with Sherry, kind of, in my opinion, painting with a mighty broad brush with regard to fathers and their role in children's lives, but some agreeing with her. 0091 says she's absolutely correct. Most men think it's the woman's responsibility to rear the children. If the dad's ever present, he comes around for the fun stuff, the outings and the trips and the parties and things where they have little or no responsibility. I just disagree wholeheartedly with that. I see way too many dads. I talk to way too many dads. I'm not a father. I do not have children of my own, but I was a kid, and I experienced the polar opposites of child rearing. My dad left when I was 5 years old. He was out ski. I did not see my father again until I was 12. I saw my father for 2 weeks at the age of 12 on a summer vacation. I realized later on in life, I didn't know it then, that he was court ordered to take us for 2 weeks. Otherwise, they were going to throw him in jail because he hadn't paid child support for like all of the time that he was gone. And that was awful. But I had my grandfather in my life. And I kind of saw both sides. I saw a dad who left, but I also saw a grandfather who understood what it meant to raise a child and raise a child the right way. Now, some of you that know me would suggest that maybe he was not successful with Matt Murphy, whatever. I don't think it's, the dad blaming here is, I don't really get all that. John is next. John, thank you for your call.
Yes. I usually agree with pretty much everything you said. The thing about men knowing how to take care of kids or want to step up, I have a little umbrage on that. And mainly because I know someone that was 17, 18 that got pregnant. The boy said he was going to do everything for them, everything. He held his baby girl, never came back, never saw him again. And it really, on what you said, it in some ways I can agree with you in that it depends on who the boy was raised by. If he has a father figure, which was your grandfather, which I just heard you talk about, which praise the Lord you have him. My father was sick, but he raised me to be responsible and to step up for whoever that I was with. But again, I don't think most boys know that just by knowing it. They most people these days are so selfish they don't know anything about themselves. And I'll let you go and let you talk about that. Thanks.
Well, thank you, John, for the telephone call, and I do appreciate it. I mean, these are very personal conversations, and I'm not here to dissuade one person or the next as to whether they're right or I'm right or who. I don't know that anybody's right in any of this. We all have our individual experiences. I do think it's painting with a mighty broad brush to suggest that most men aren't there for the raising of their children, which is something that it was one of my takeaways from Sherry's telephone call. I just think that's not true. Now, is it true that there are absentee fathers? Of course it's true. And is it true that that is way too present in our society nowadays? Of course that's true. Is it true that we need to get back to homes where the father and the mother are both present and accounted for in the lives of their children? 100%. This is a conversation that started over the case of Lindsay Clancy. There was no question that the dad was present during the time of the death of the three children, and there's no question who was responsible for the death of the three kids. Any suggestion that it was, look, we could say that maybe warning signs should have been seen. I made the case that in the Andrea Yates trial back in 2001, I felt like, hindsight's 20/20, but I felt like, most people should have been able to see that you cannot leave this woman alone with her children for any amount of time. And sadly, for the family and for the five kids and for the father, that's exactly what happened. And no one can punish him more than he's probably punished himself. But I think it's an intellectual leap to jump to say that he is now somehow complicit or partially responsible when clearly Andrea Yates was the responsible party, if you don't believe that she was mentally unable to distinguish right from wrong at the time that she committed the atrocity that she did. Thera is next. Hey, Thera, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, and I cannot defend her, and I'm not trying to defend her for anything that she did on with her 3 children, but I am here to just really quick defend the people with mental illness. I have had anxiety and depression since I was 18 years old, and I have been told by more people than I can count that if I just prayed more and trusted in the Lord more, then it would go away. I feel like that's really dangerous. I am a Christian. I'm at church. I actually teach at a Christian school. I love the Lord, but the Lord has given me this to do something with it. If you're reading in the Bible, Paul asked for the Lord to remove the thorn from his side, and the Lord said no. Through your weakness, he is made strong, and he is glorified through our weakness. So to say that, put the medicine away and just pray more, I think is just a dangerous generalization. You can do that. There's wonderful people that have done that, but that might not be all that's needed right now. And that's really all I just wanted to say.
Well, I'm glad you did, and it's well spoken, and I would agree with you 100% that I understand the idea of believing in God. It's the old, I'm not trying to be flip when I say this, but I'm reminded of the old joke about the flood. Y'all have heard the joke, right? Where the guy learns on television news that the flood is coming, and he thinks to himself, well, I have trust in God, and God will provide for me, and God will take care of me. And pretty soon after he sees that, there's a knock on the door, and there's a guy in a truck, and he goes, hey, the flood's coming. You better jump in the truck with him. And he said, no, I have faith in God. I have faith in the Lord. The Lord's going to take care of me. And the fellow says, okay. And he gets in his truck and drives off, and the floodwaters come up enough where it's up to the first floor of the house. He has to get in the second floor of the house, and he looks outside, and there's a boat out there, and the guy's yelling at him, saying, come on, jump in the boat. Let's go. Floodwater's coming. Floodwater's going to drown you. And the guy says, no, I have faith in God. God's going to take care of me. And the floods keep coming, and suddenly he's on his roof, and a helicopter comes by, and the helicopter, they drop down a ladder and said, jump on the ladder, we'll get you out of here. And he goes, no, I have faith in God. God's going to take care of me. And the floods continue to come, and it swallows the house, and it drowns him. And there he is in front of the Lord. He's at the pearly gates, and he's in the sight of God. And he said, Lord, I've been a faithful man. I've loved you all my life. I've prayed all my life, and I had every faith in the world in you, and I trusted in you. What happened? And God said, well, I sent a truck, a boat, and a helicopter. What else did you want me to do? Sometimes the blessings of God come to us in ways that we don't always easily see, I guess is the point. It's a very, very tender subject, and I understand the taking of psychotropic drugs and the taking of other drugs to prevent psychosis. That's also a very delicate conversation, but I'd say I'm not afraid of the conversation. I'm not as schooled as some in on it. I am blessed to say that I'm almost 53 years old. I'll be 53 years old September 1st. I take a multivitamin in the morning, and I take a melatonin at night to go to bed, and that's it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I take an allergy pill every once in a while, and that's it. I'm thankful that I was taking a blood pressure pill. I'm not bragging, but I'm kind of bragging. I was taking a blood pressure pill for a minute when I was a little bit heftier, and I lost weight, and my blood pressure went down to the point where I didn't have to take blood pressure medicine anymore. I also remember, to Theta's point, was it Theta? Is that right? Thera, pardon me. I knew it was a T-H-E. Thera. To her point, this idea of just drop your medicine. Well, medical science is not inherently a bad thing. Even as we are frustrated with the pharmaceutical industry and how they push drugs, it seems at every turn and every corner. And I do think there's a lot of that goes on. And most often, if you change aspects of your life, you can change the direction of your health, and you can do so in a way that doesn't involve a pill every day. I mean, does that make sense to everyone? But that's not always the case. Sometimes people, I mean, diabetes is an obvious example. If you've got type 1 diabetes, you probably are going to need insulin or you're going to die, right? That said, I remember it like it was yesterday. My grandpa called me. My grandfather was on, he had a heart pill and he had like a blood thinner going on to prevent clots, and he had diabetes medication. He was on pills. He took shots for a minute and stopped those. I mean, he was taking like all of these. I mean, he was taking probably 10, 15 pills a day, right? He's 80 years old. I don't even think he was 80 at the time. He's like 70. Let's say 75. This was about 10 years before he died. And my grandpa calls me one day and says, yeah, you know what? I've decided I'm not taking these damn pills anymore. And I'm like, sir? And he goes, nah, I've decided I'm not taking these pills anymore. And I'm like, Pa, you can't just stop taking your medicine. He goes, the hell I can't. I just did. I was like, wait a minute. So you're not going to take any of your, nope, not taking them anymore. He said, my diabetes, he said, the blood pressure, he said the heart pills because of the diabetes, all of it's related, all of it's interrelated, and I'm just going to stop taking all of it, and it's fine. And I'll monitor my blood sugar, and I'll be fine. And I'm like, Pa, I don't think this is a good idea. I think maybe you should talk to the doctor. He said, I did, and he said the same damn thing. I was like, okay, it's you, man. I mean, but my grandfather just stopped taking all the medicine. He took his blood sugar in the morning and at night. If my brother regularly listens to the show, he can attest to this story. It's absolutely the truth. I'm like, Pa, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think you should just stop taking all of the medicine that you've been prescribed to take. He goes, well, I'm going to. And he just stopped. Monitored his blood sugar. If his blood sugar was too low, he adjusted. If his blood sugar was too high, he adjusted his intake, the food that he ate. And he didn't take pills for the rest of his life. I mean, he lived to 86. But I would not recommend that to everyone, and I would not recommend that to most people who have issues that they obviously have to take medicine for. Every person is different. Obviously, we trust in God, but sometimes that help comes in the form of a medicine bottle and medical science. And I'm not here to tell you which is which. That's up to the individual. It's 10 until the top of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. USS, you know what that stands for? United Structural Systems. You know what United Structural Systems stands for? They stand for good, solid, rock solid foundation for every home in the state of Tennessee. That's what they're all about. It's what they do. They deal with foundation repair, waterproofing repair, and that is it. Now, they do a great job with the waterproofing. They do a great job with the foundation repair. Those two things go hand in hand. They've kept homes stable and dry since 1994. They're all about you, the customer. They've helped over 30,000 of people just like you, and they can help you. They understand Tennessee homes. They understand Tennessee topography. They understand what happens when the shifting and the settlement happens, and they can assist in all of those things. You can call them at 615-488-7855. I would recommend you go online and look into the free estimates that they offer at the USS facilities. They can come out to your house. They can give you a free home inspection. Go to USSTN.com, USSTN.com. They're problem solvers, experienced, local. They are United Structural Systems. What? What? You want me to do the show now? I'm busy. I am busy. I was doing a little show prepped out in the hallway there. No, that doesn't mean shots, Jackson. Come on, man. By the way, if you've never been over to the YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch site and seen the production values that we have on a daily basis, you need to go over today, especially YouTube. Jackson Williams has outdone himself on the slide today. It is, it's a quality slide. It not only, what is that on my face though? That's what I want to know.
Blueberry.
That's like blueberry schmutz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. The title of today's show on the YouTube slide is Revenge of the Blueberries. If you don't know why that's the title of the show and you've seen that, don't you worry. We'll let you know coming up next hour. And then there's it says Murphy's Blueberry Patch. Pick your revenge. And there I am, and am I a blueberry?
You are like the Veronica girl from Willy Wonka.
No, Violet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Violet. Violet, you're turning violet, Violet. She's gonna pop. No, he thinks she's blowing up like a balloon. No, that's juice. Oh no, she has to be. I think I can remember this line. And she has to be juiced immediately, or she'll pop. They have to squeeze the blueberry juice out of her. Yeah, because she ate the gum. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this film?
Yeah,
You've seen
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right?
I've seen both iterations.
Oh my goodness gracious! The Johnny Depp version was not.
Just weird.
It was not pleasant. It was not pleasant.
I don't think either movie's pleasant.
So, have you heard Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Gene Wilder insisted in the first scene. Obviously Gene Wilder played Willy Wonka. So the first scene where everybody gets the golden tickets, and you don't see Gene Wilder for the first half of the movie. And then everybody finds their golden tickets, and everybody's sitting at the gate. And then he comes out, and he's got the cane, and he's limping. And then he loses the cane and does the flip. And the director did not want him to do the cane thing. That was Gene Wilder's concept.
Why?
Well, the director just didn't like it. Gene Wilder said, as the story goes, he said, I'm doing the cane thing, or I'm not doing the role. And the director's like, why? And he said, because I have to establish that he's willing to lie to the kids. That nothing that happens from here on out should be assumed to be true. I thought it was a great psychological impact. And that movie has one of my all-time top 10 favorite scenes in it. You know what it is?
Good day. The angry one?
Yeah, that's good, boy. That's good. So shines a good deed in a weary world. That's a great line. When the little kid takes the gobstopper back. Mr. Wonka puts in, so shines a good deed in a weary world. I need to go. Well, you know what? Maybe that might be on my list for this weekend, although we've both seen it.
I'm good.
No, you're good on Willy Wonka?
Yeah.
Oompa Loompas, not your bag. Augustus Gloop. Violet, you're turning violet. Man, when I was a kid, when they were on the little paddle boat and the lizard ate the grasshopper, freaked me out, boy. I didn't like that scene at all.
It's just I've seen that movie so many times. I just have no desire to ever watch it again.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you. All right, Blueberry Talk coming up because there's a big recall happening. What is going on with American produce? We're going to discuss in moments on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. No, not the blueberries. My goodness gracious. You know what? They came for the lettuce and we said, have the lettuce. And then they came for the jalapenos and we said, to hell with the jalapenos. Now they're coming for the blueberries.
Next, they're going to come after the snozberries.
Snozberries? What's a snozberry? Who's ever heard of a snozberry? We are the dreamers. That's when they're licking the wallpaper, right?
That whole movie's a trip.
That whole movie's pretty. You remember? You remember what happened to Veruca, right? Veruca Salt.
Is that the squirrel one?
Veruca was the bad egg.
Oh yeah, they replaced that with squirrels in the Johnny Depp version.
What happened to her in the squirrels? What?
The squirrels took her.
I don't think I ever watched all of the Johnny Depp version.
The Johnny Depp version is insane.
It was Johnny Depp's on record as saying in his version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, he was just basically playing Michael Jackson, right? I think that's right.
I think that's fair to say.
I think it's fair.
watch
I mean that his inspiration behind the Willy Wonka character was, I'm Michael Jackson. But in the first one, Veruca, she wanted a feast. She wanted a bean feast, and she sang her little song, and then she jumped up on there was the goose, the geese laying the golden eggs, and she
was a bad egg and she fell down.
She was a bad egg.
What happened to Mike TV in the first one?
They shrunk him. He tried to transport himself over television into the TV, and he ended up itty bitty, and they put him in Ms. TV's purse to go. They had to go to the take him to the taffy machine to have him stretched.
Yeah.
Have him stretched back out.
You know what scene in that movie is terrifying?
Besides anybody else? The lizard and the cricket and
the tunnel.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, then yeah, that's a terrifying scene.
Where he starts going, where it's going? Is it raining? Is it snowing? Snowing. Like, whoa,
this is a kids movie, buddy.
Hold on, buddy boy.
Gene, let's calm it down.
Gene, you're just selling some chocolate.
Chocolatier, brother. This
easy.
This ain't Young Frankenstein.
I mean, you need to simmer down.
You need to take a chill pill, brother.
And then stop the boat. Boop. They stopped the boat. Yeah, I didn't like that scene when I was a kid.
I didn't like a lot of that movie when I was a kid. It terrified me. I watched it, but
you know the Oompa Loompas in the book were little pygmies, and they turned them orange because they wanted to get away from any sort of racial connotations in the film, which was a smart move, by the way. And did the modern one, was it Hugh Grant? Was all of them? Am I thinking about this correctly?
Maybe. There was one guy they did a bunch of times. Like they digitally recreated.
What am I thinking of? What movie am I thinking of, guys, that Hugh Grant was just in it over and over and over again? Maybe that's it. I don't know. One way or the other, it doesn't matter. Frozen blueberries. That bag of frozen blueberries in your freezer could be more than just a smoothie staple. A recall of Greenwise organic frozen blueberries and whole mixed berries has been slapped with the highest risk classification amid an investigation into the potentially dangerous outbreak of E. coli that has sickened 12 people and hospitaled 4 others. You know what won't give you E. coli?
Chocolate.
Fried chicken.
Hamburgers.
Mm-hmm. Fried chicken sandwich.
Hamburgers, no lettuce.
Hamburgers, no lettuce, no tomato.
Oh, tomatoes bad too now?
I guess. I mean, I've got a list.
What vegetables will not kill me, Matt?
Celery's pretty good for you.
Okay.
No, actually, celery's the worst because
just water, right?
Well, because it pulls the water through the stalk and whatever impurities are in the ground, it sucks it right through there. The FDA has classified the recall as a Class 1 recall, the most serious designation, meaning that there is, quote, reasonable probability that consuming or being exposed to the recall product could cause serious health concerns. This is a very serious matter. Thankfully, no deaths have been reported. 12 illnesses in Florida and Georgia between May 11th and June 5th. The recalled berries were sold in public stores, listen up now, in 8 states: Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, you could tell when it was all around us. We were kind of in that one.
Yeah, we're kind of going there. The recall of Greenwise organic frozen blueberries and whole mixed berries has been slapped with the highest risk classification. I'm going to read you there's Greenwise organic whole blueberries in the 10-ounce size. I have the UPC codes, but I'm not going to do that to you. Greenwise organic whole blueberries, 10-ounce. Greenwise organic whole blueberries, 48-ounce. Greenwise organic whole mixed berries, 10-ounce. Greenwise organic whole mixed berries, 48-ounce. It started with a single lot on July 3rd. They recalled Greenwise organic blueberries after testing flagged a presumptive positive for E. coli. 3 weeks later, the recall got a lot bigger. Publix pulled all lots of Greenwise organic frozen whole blueberries and whole mixed berries from the shelves. The original July 3rd recall involved a single 10-ounce lot, but now they have subsequently involved all of the lots that I just mentioned to you. The bottom line is if you have these Greenwise whole blueberries or mixed berries in your home, 10 ounce or 48 ounces, the best, probably best practice is to go ahead and throw those things out. Symptoms can kick in anywhere from several days after eating the contaminated food to as many as 9 days later. Stomach cramps, diarrhea, fever, nausea, vomiting. Some infections can cause blood in the stool and progress to serious other complications. The FDA has a simple message for consumers: do not eat the blueberries. Do not eat, do not sell, do not serve Greenwise organic frozen whole blueberries or whole mixed berries, period. Check your freezers and throw it out or return them to where they were purchased for a refund or replacement. The redheaded stranger wants to know if Frankenberry is okay. I think Frankenberry is A-okay. If you like the cereal, it's the only way that I will drink milk is to create a sugar slurry involving very sugary cereals, and you put enough sugary cereal in the milk, then you can create this almost milkshake type consistency with the milk, and that's the only way that I'll consume milk. Because it's not milk at that point. It's cereal milk, which is different. Don't roll. What are you rolling your eye? What's wrong in there? Why are you rolling those eyes?
Your crusade against milk.
Milk's for baby cows, buddy.
You tell that to your new congressman, your next congressman.
Chris Hand. This is actually consistent with something we were talking about during our recording of the Mostly Peaceful podcast. He said if you watch the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka, or I guess that version was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, mushrooms are advised. I think I'd freak out.
I would freak out.
I think I would freak out. I don't think I could handle it. Ken Weaver has checked in and says everything's stable, by the way. Ken had to go home for a situation involving his wife. Obviously, his beautiful wife just had a medical procedure, and he just wanted to make sure that he was there for her. So she's stable, in stable condition. All of you asking about that, I just checked in with him, and he is saying that she is in stable condition. So here are the numbers of recalls. What is going on with America's food supply, guys? Now, I'm just going to give you a partial list of government recalls for contaminated food and or inspections. Now, we just had the blueberry recall, right? August 2026, jalapenos, salmonella contamination. August 2026, pastrami and corned beef, listeria risk. August 2026, Argentinian beef, because they skipped an inspection. July 2026, frozen blueberries, mixed berries, that's the E. coli that I just mentioned. July 2026, bacon, skipped inspection. July 2026, chicken noodle soup, skipped inspection. July 2026, 19 million eggs with salmonella contamination. July 2026, iceberg lettuce, cyclospora contamination, and that was the biggie with 6,358 illnesses, almost 300 hospitalizations. Now, I'm not here to scare the hell out of people. I could go on and on. Several recalls in June, several recalls in May, several recalls in April. South America, maybe. I mean, some of this has to do with a lot of the stuff that's coming on from south of the border. And on it goes with listeria risks and salmonella risks. Once again, there are regular recalls that go on every single month across the United States of America, but it feels like we have a lot more of them going on right now than normal. What is the deal? Our food's trying to kill us. That's what the deal is. In the meantime, once again, if you have Greenwise blueberries or Greenwise mixed berries, you are asked to throw them out or to take them to your local Publix where you purchase them. Publix is a Greenwise carrier. I guess there's an affiliation there. If you transferred the berries to another container and no longer have the original packaging, the FDA says to toss them out if you can't determine whether or not they're a part of the recall. Better to lose a bag of berries than gamble with a bacterial infection. Any surfaces or containers that have come in contact with the recalled product should also be thoroughly cleaned and sanitized to help prevent cross-contamination. Anyone who ate the recalled berries and developed symptoms should contact a healthcare provider immediately. As for the contamination and how it happened in the first place, that remains a mystery. According to the agency, FDA and state partners are actively working to determine the source of the contamination. I bring this up and repeat it for you here in our state because we are impacted. And, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of this is coming from south of the border or what. 0152 says celery will give you the running trots without the salmonella. That is fair enough. Food supply terrorists, just like the water, maybe. You know where you don't get any damage from? Deep fried Reese cup. I tell you, that's the truth. How many of these farmers use sludge to fertilize their crops? I do not know. 6120 has a theory. They want to replace everything with lab grown. Scott says, as much as this country is relying on food packaged by other people and corporations, I'm surprised we haven't had a major terrorist attack where they poison our food supply. Let's not give them any ideas, obviously, but that's surely a concern. What kind of stomach bug can be on a berry that survives the freezer? I thought freezing killed everything. Well, apparently it doesn't kill E. coli. Mike is in Old Hickory with a thought on all of this. Hey, Mike.
How you doing, Matt?
Mike, I'm great. I hope you are.
We just went through $40 trillion in debt today in our country.
I know. We talked about it yesterday. Did you hear?
Yes, and the reason is we can't hire enough food inspectors because of all the debt we have. The health department and the Food Drug Administration, they can't hire people because we're so in debt they can't pay people to come to work because we don't have the money. When you go this much in debt in this country, this is what you're going to get. So, Matt, get used to it. You're going to have E. coli. You're going to have bad lettuce. You're going to have all kinds of stuff going on because we're all trading around the world, importing from other countries, and we just accept that it's okay. But we don't have enough food inspectors because we can't afford them due to the $40 trillion in debt. And remember that when you vote in November.
Wait a minute. How do you want us to vote consistent with what you just said?
You vote people in that are going to stop allowing this kind of debt spending and letting other countries control our food supply. But it means that we're going to have to hire food inspectors that get paid a whole lot more money than they get paid in Mexico or Venezuela or China or whatever, sending their products over here.
How many?
Are we willing to do that?
Yeah, so consistent with the nature of your call, would you venture a guess, Mike, as to how many U.S. federal government employees there are in the Food Inspection Division?
Not enough, unfortunately, but I wouldn't even guess.
Give me a guess. What do you think?
Thousands.
There's 2,000 dedicated meat and poultry inspectors in the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service, several thousand broader consumer safety inspectors, and a smaller contingent of roughly 400 to 500 specialized FDA food inspectors overseeing general food facilities and general practices. Roughly 4,500 federal workers who handle microbial testing, compliance, and multi-plant visits.
Well, then it's thousands, and they're not doing their job then.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is that
what are you saying?
They're probably not doing their job is because they're not getting paid enough or not hiring enough people. We need to hire twice as many. If we're going to import food from around the world like we're doing, probably half of our food intake is coming from outside of our own country. And you know as well as I do, you know how many truckers come up from Mexico driving across the border?
You tell me, boy. A lot of them. A lot. I mean, no, it's a problem. No, we need to make sure that these countries that we're. I mean, Mike, you bring up an excellent point, and I thank you for doing so. We need to make sure that those that are coming into the country are doing. I mean, obviously there are plenty of inspections that go on, and I wouldn't suggest that those aren't happening. And I don't know that Mike is right that we have fewer food inspectors. I mean, one would think if we're that many $1 trillion in debt, we would have plenty of food inspections going on. That to say, we should examine where our food is coming from and make sure that they are up to the same standards as we are. Obviously, I don't want to make more of this than there is, but there seems to be a lot of these recalls happening. I mean, lettuce and now blueberries and many different other types of produce. Just seems a lot. Jeff has thoughts on it. Do you? 615-737-9986, 22 after the hour on Super Talk. Someone has suggested that I talked about diarrhea and then brought on Mike because he has diarrhea of the mouth. I would never have done that. No, I don't think forward enough to make that association, although it was a pretty good coincidence. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's talk about efficient heating and cooling. It's hot outside, and it's going to be hot outside for the rest of the month and the rest of next month and probably most of October because that's the way it is in Tennessee. Well, Efficient Heating and Cooling wants to help you out with that. If you have any issues whatsoever, Jeff Eddy is here for you. Efficient Heating and Cooling is a small company with big results in mind, and they'll get them out to you, Jiffy Quick. We told the testimonial the other day about a customer that called on a Monday morning, and Efficient Heating and Cooling was out to their home by Monday afternoon and had the thing fixed. Roger was on the job and on the task, and he had it fixed in less than an hour. That's what it's all about. Getting you repaired and getting your AC back up and running as best they can. Now, if it is time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can recommend the right unit for you and for your family. And they understand that if the AC goes out this time of year, boy, you got to get it fixed Jiffy Quick, which is why they don't charge you overtime rates on nights or weekends because your AC doesn't know what time it is. So why should you pay more because it's 7 o'clock at night versus 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Efficient Heating and Cooling. Go to efficienthvac.net, efficienthvac.net, or call today, 615-784-4424, 784-4424. Who is Jerry Green? We're going to dive into that coming up a little bit later on. News Channel 5 had a puff piece on this lady. Also, what is New Mexico House Bill 182, and what does it mean regarding free speech? I want to talk about that. Right on Red is a topic of conversation we're going to get into a little bit later on. Your telephone calls all afternoon long, 615-737-9986. Love talking with you. Plus, nincompoops in the news. We will carry on in the absence of Brother Weaver. We will still have nincompoops in the news. I get to go set the batting order today. Oh, yeah, of course I did.
You did not win yesterday.
No, you didn't either. Ken won.
No shot.
What are you talking about, no shot? What was your story?
I had the guy who threatened to bomb an Applebee's.
Oh, no, I did win yesterday.
No,
I had
won.
No. You always say that.
Matt, I'm telling you, I won.
You say that with the core conviction of a man. I'll go look. I'll go check it out. I think I won the online vote because remember you said, yeah, your little flunkies came in at the last minute and voted for you.
Yeah, because you cheated and rigged it at the end.
And rigged it. I said, y'all need to get the votes in. I'll go look. I'll go take a look during the non-news at the bottom of the hour because we don't have news at the bottom of the hour in the absence of Ken. Ken had to take off earlier today. If you're just joining us, everything's going to be fine. We're praying for him. I know his wife is going through some pain right now, and we're thinking about those two. And he went to take care of her and is capably doing so. So we're thinking about you, Weavers, and we'll be thinking about you during Nincompoops in the news too. We should let Ken. We should give him the trophy for next week in honor of him being off. What do you think, Jackson?
I haven't won yet this week, apparently. So sure.
You might have won yesterday. I don't know.
I think I won yesterday.
I know I won day one, Ken won day two. Yesterday, I'm not so sure. We'll find out. Right now, Jeff wants to talk recalls. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Good. I think that a two-part answer on this. First is recalls are a funny thing. You know, when a spotlight is being placed on them, it seems like they come up with more and more all the time, you know, because it's newsworthy and they want to make sure they catch everything they can catch. So some stuff may slip through the cracks that didn't get caught years, ago. But nevertheless, it's bad. But another thing, too, is the inspection. I've heard that we don't have near enough inspectors to inspect everything that comes across our borders. So that's the two answers I have for everything going on.
Well, I mean, certainly, I don't think the purpose, and thank you, Jeff, for the call. I'm looking at some of the figures about the number of food inspectors that we have, and it's in the thousands, if not the tens of thousands. I mean, just on meat and poultry alone here in the United States of America, there's over 2,000 inspections or inspectors. I don't believe that the idea is to inspect every head of lettuce or every stalk of celery or every green pepper or every jalapeno. The idea is to inspect batches as it flows through, and I think that's how they do it. But they're not inspecting every single thing. But I do believe, I don't think we have an inspection shortage, not to my knowledge. Larry might know. I don't know. Hey, Larry?
Yes, sir.
What's on your mind, Larry?
Yes, sir. You talking about the inspections? Both of my brothers are inspectors.
Oh, see, Larry does know. I had a feeling about you, Larry. What?
Okay.
All right. Did they have a shortage?
Yes, sir. It would take millions to do all the inspection. I'll tell you how he does. Both of them leave out at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
They go to Chevrolet for the chicken houses.
Okay.
They inspect 2 chickens. They already know what time they're going to be there. They have 2 chickens to inspect. Then they give them a seal for the day. They only inspect 2 or 3. He has to go from there to Winchester, and he inspects chickens up there. Then he goes to Manchester, and in the total of the day, he has to travel 240 miles a day.
Wow.
He just gives them the seal. When you see the seal on the meat, it's just a stamp. That's all it is.
Right.
No way to inspect all his animals and everything else, sir. No way.
Well, that's right. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, at least for me, I assumed that every single piece of, lettuce, every single green pepper, all of the veggies and all of that, they're not going to be completely inspected. Every single one of them is not going to be inspected. We're just inspecting in batches. But Larry indicates that we're woefully short on our inspection processes. Maybe so. Maybe some of the overspending, maybe some of the fraud and abuse, we can reroute that money and go to food inspections. Maybe that would help out. 32 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Buddy boy, you better get to Genesis this weekend. One epic engagement ring event is happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You've been hearing about it, and now it's here. Genesis has flown in entire collections of both Tacori and Verragio, two of the most sought-after bridal designers in the world, with hundreds upon hundreds of rings in all new styles. Verragio is handcrafted by true artisans and unmatched attention to detail. Tacori, exquisite rings known for their hidden details and timeless beauty. These are the finest American-made rings available, distinctive, stylish, handmade. Other jewelers are not even allowed to carry them in this area. Why? Because Genesis has them, and they'll be showcasing them and their entire collections at this event this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Enjoy special event incentives like 0% interest financing up to $5,000 in savings, 3 days only. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Green Hills and Cool Springs. When you walk through the doors and see the beautiful, sparkly Tacori and Verragio jewelry, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis Diamonds. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to nincompoops in the news coming up moments from now. Just to Jackson and yours truly today. I did some counting, Jackson, and it's close enough that I feel sorry for you. And if you're willing to take the pity of me not counting the YouTube vote because you claim that I cheated, then you win.
Deal.
There's just there's no shame in that game.
Nope.
So you're the winner from yesterday.
Yep.
You're gonna beat out the Bear KFC story with whatever tale you told yesterday.
A guy was going to bomb the Applebee's.
I have a big time update in my nincompoop story. We'll get to that momentarily. Pat is next on the issue of inspections. Hey, Pat.
Oh, wow, this is wild. I work for a major corporation that supplies McDonald's, and you would not believe the inspections that go before it gets to the USDA by our company. I don't know if I should say the name of the company on there.
That is totally up to you, Pat. I would probably recommend maybe not doing it. I don't know.
Okay, but they have so many protocols before it gets to USDA. I mean, they have people coming by checking the temperature of the meat, checking the quality, checking everything that goes on before it gets to USDA.
Are you do you provide the beef or the poultry?
Poultry.
Poultry? Okay, I think I know who you work for.
It starts with a T.
And ends with an ison.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. I'm the one that said, no, I mean, this isn't bad, but they inspect the hell out of this stuff before it gets there, right?
Oh, man, there are so many protocols, and we have never had a recall.
Never had a recall. Well, good for y'all.
No, our plant has never had a recall, and we're the distribution hub to go to all the McDonald's.
Well, no, I mean, I understand that. Obviously, the businesses themselves. It's not just a matter of relying on the U.S. government, the USDA.
Yes, sir. If you have a strong team that does their inspections properly, we don't inspect every bird that comes through, but everything is coming through in good quality.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work over there, Pat, and I appreciate you calling in, buddy.
Hey, I listened to all of y'all all 4 days when I get a chance.
All right.
Because I'm working all day. But I just wanted to defend, people that are doing their job properly.
No, that's right. It's well spoken. You should do that.
It's not the government. It's the people that work there.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, that's good. Pat, you want to go ahead and get your vote in for Matt Murphy for Nincompoops in the News? You can get one in early.
Or Jackson.
It's got to go for Jackson because I'm a Tennessee Vol fan.
What? Pat? Oh, no. Dang it, Pat. Don't you know? We shut this down. So Jackson took a huge pay cut when he was negotiating his contract. And in the negotiations of the contract at the beginning of the year this year, Jackson had it negotiated that in any month where there is football, anytime the Tennessee Vols are brought up, he is contractually and legally allowed to play this song. Woo! So I can't help it if y'all are going to do that and bring it up. 42 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's go ahead and get some nincompoops in the news. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what the news is, at least according to ABC News, in the absence of Ken Weaver. Now it is time to look all across the great volunteer state of Tennessee, all across these 50 United States of America.
Nay, the globe.
Nay, the globe. See, you did Ken, I did you. As we look for where the nincompoops live and breathe, we present them to you on a daily basis. You get to vote on a daily basis. I have granted Jackson the victory from yesterday, mainly because his buddy is not there in News Closet B, and he has his lip pooched out about the whole thing. Rightly so. We're all very sad. So, Jackson has a victory, Ken has a victory, Matt has a victory, and it's time for Thursday edition with only 2 participants. Jackson, considering that you were basically given the victory yesterday, you didn't earn it. You were given the victory. It's, much like Georgia didn't earn the victory at Neyland Stadium last year. We were kind of handed it when your kicker shanked a field goal. You, sir, were given the victory. And that's okay. That's all right. You take the victories where they come. Jackson, are you ready for nincompoops? You seem very busy doing something.
I had to fix our camera.
Oh, did you fix it?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Mandis was saying that he was all jerky this morning. I don't know what that meant.
Probably mean.
Probably so. All right, Jackson.
Oh, the order?
Yes. What is the batting order for today? There's only 2 of us. I assume you're going first and I'm going second?
You can go first.
I can go first?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Everything all right in there?
I don't have my story pulled up because I was doing the camera thing.
Oh. Well, I knew. I figured it was.
I needed a second.
I have a. Can your horn guy give me a little horn here? I've got a.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, yeah.
Hey.
Get him up here.
Get up.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Thank you. A nincompoop in the news update. As featured on Nincompoops in the News earlier this year, we have an update on the Michigan inmate, as opposed to the Michigan Mingate. The Michigan inmate who was found to have a full bottle of Pinot Grigio in her prison purse.
How do we? Oh, gosh.
Remember that?
No, but
great
my
story.
story is so similar.
Is it now? Well, this is an update on a previous nincompoop story. I feel like we should update you on this fine young lady who, got caught in a bad way. You might recall that Monique Megchiani, Megchiani.
Your girl's name Monique, too?
Monique. Oh, are we doing the same story?
It's a different story, but it's very similar.
Following her guilty plea to a contraband smuggling charge, Monique Megchiani, 48, was facing a maximum 5-year prison sentence in connection with a felony count. But at a circuit court hearing Friday, Megchiani was sentenced to 3 years probation and fined $200, also credited with serving 3 months time behind bars following the May arrest. Megchiani, for those who missed it, was initially busted for trespassing at a CVS pharmacy in Grand Traverse, Michigan, where she had previously stolen some wine. After being handcuffed and checked for weapons, Megchiani, the police reported, had difficulty sliding into the squad car. After some convincing, she was slowly able to maneuver herself into the back seat. While Megchiani was subsequently being booked in a county jail, a corrections officer conducted a, quote, final check of her person and discovered that the inmate had concealed a full, unopened bottle of Cupcake Vineyards Pinot Grigio inside herself.
Where was it?
It was not up her poop chute. It was up the other side.
Oh.
At the direction of the jailer, quote, the bottle was removed and was still intact. Weighing in at about 2.5 pounds, the screw-top bottle, just shy of 12 inches long, was, quote, destroyed due to biohazardous concerns. But not before evidence photos were taken of the formerly concealed goods. Megchiani told the Traverse Police Department she was, quote, afraid of detoxing while in jail, and she was scared. Apparently, she has an alcohol addiction, and she was worried that she would lose her buzz while in the pokey. And so she put it
Pokey.
up the pokey. Well, she's not going to serve any jail time. You know what? The circuit court had pity on her, and I'm looking at her mugshot, and rightly so. Meg Shiani looks a little rode hard and put up wet, if you know what I'm talking about, as the saying goes. Monique Meggiani, you are a nincompoop. Jackson, you got a Monique too?
I have a Monique, and what she did is
prison purse too?
Yeah, prison purse.
Is it a bottle of Pinot?
Nope. Florida woman accused of hiding thousands in stolen cash inside body after allegedly scamming senior. A Florida woman accused
Okay, go ahead.
A Florida woman accused of posing as a bank representative to scam a senior citizen allegedly carried the scheme all the way to jail, where authorities said they found $3,200 cash hidden inside her body.
You'll see my ATM machine, baby.
Monique Love Turnbull, 31, of Miami, was arrested after Martin County Sheriff's Office deputies alleged she showed up at a senior citizen's home pretending to work for the alleged victim's bank. The MCSO said...
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
What?
You avoided the name of the bank? Or did you not? Oh, never mind.
No, I just realized I wasn't on camera.
Okay.
Lots of things going on.
You
back
got a
here,
lot
brother.
going on, but all right, not as much as this lady with the money up her hoo-ha.
MCSO said Turnbull told the victim the account had been compromised and tried to obtain the person's debit or credit card under the guise of disposing it.
Just swipe it in the slot.
The alleged victim became suspicious and contacted law enforcement. While deputies investigated, they received another call identifying Turnbull as a possible suspect in a similar case.
Can I tap and pay? Tap and pay?
Deputies located Turnbull driving near the interstate before she could leave Martin County and arrested her on fraud charges Monday during a traffic stop caught on body cam footage. Boop. Turnbull faces charges of scheme to defraud, felony use of a two-way communication device, and fraudulent use of a credit or debit card without consent involving a victim 60 or older. The case took another turn, however, after Turnbull was brought to jail. Authorities said Turnbull entered the prison with $3,200 lodged in her hoo-ha. It's not clear who the money was taken from, but for now it's accounted for and sealed in a biohazard bag. Keep in mind, at some point, the cash will be back in public circulation. Turnbull faces an additional charge of introduction of contraband into a prison. Her bond was set at $500,000.
You ever get you like a $10 bill and you know it was weed money? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Or you can smell it and you're like, oh, this was weed money.
Somebody tried to roll something with this one.
Where has this money been?
Ew.
In a biohazard bag. So she didn't have it in a protective anything. She just had it up there?
Yep.
Huh. Hopefully it was rolled.
It was. There's a picture of the bag.
Nice. All right, it's the battle of the competing prison purses.
I prefer the term hoo-ha.
Well, I bet you do. There you go. Vote Murphy, vote Jackson, vote early, vote often. Voting open right now, 51 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It was once said, do all the good you can by all the means you can, and all the ways you can, and all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, for as long as you can. That's what owner Aaron Stokes tried to do for over a quarter century. And that's what Eurofix continues to try to do. Eurofix repairs European vehicles at below dealer pricing. It's as simple as that. But what sets them apart isn't just price. It's the deep commitment to quality that keeps you off the tow truck. Eurofix has clean, welcoming shops where you can sit down, a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the repair work that they perform. Rental cars are available at every appointment as well. They have 5 separate locations to serve you in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. If you have a European car and you're not already taking your European car to Eurofix, I would humbly suggest, what are you even doing? It's time to get to Eurofix. Below dealer pricing and quality guaranteed craftsmanship and work performed at Eurofix. 844-EUROFIX, 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. Apparently, a 12-inch standard-sized bottle of wine is more impressive than $3,200 in cash.
Here's my thing. This
So
was
far.
my story first.
What do you mean that? What?
Well, this was your update.
That's correct.
But the original story about the
cupcake wine,
the cupcake Pinot Grigio.
What'd you say? Pinot
Grigio.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
That was my story.
Uh-huh.
So it kind of feels like you're just kind of piggybacking off me, but
it's a major update. Major update. You weren't going to update it. You're busy talking about the woman with the $3,200 upper.
Monique 2, we will call her.
Upper business. A couple of Moniques battling it out on Nincompoops in the News today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On a more serious vein, and I don't mean to turn our attention to something so serious, but it merits discussion, and we'll do it in the next hour as well. And I've got the Jerry Green story. I promised you that. Right on red. I promised you that. There are some there are some things that I don't believe that we punish enough in American society. I believe that some crimes. Well, let me start here. I do not take the idea of a state that has the ability to engage in the ultimate punishment of taking one's life lightly. But I also believe that there are some issues, some crimes that are so evil, that are so heinous, the only appropriate punishment, if one is found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and convicted by a jury of one's peers, the only appropriate punishment is death. The taking of another life is an example of a way that you can lose yours. And in modern society, there are less and less excuses regarding, well, we don't really know, well, we don't have the empirical data, we don't have the irrefutable evidence. Friends, if you are charged with murder and there's DNA evidence involved in the murder, then I don't know what to tell you. But I do believe that there are certain crimes that do not necessarily involve death that need to be punishable by death. And one of them is the rape of a child. And there's a story that has a Tennessee tie to it where an individual was sentenced to life in prison that I feel compelled to talk to you about. And I know that some of our General Assembly members listen to this radio show. And I know that some of them, I think William Lamberth was one of them, that were considering offering up. We might have tried to pass this law. Did we pass the death penalty for rapist law? I don't know. Let's find out together. Final hour to come. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Stand by for news. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy, the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I was recalling correctly moments ago. I thought I had remembered that we passed legislation that was efforting to make it allowable to sentence rapists to death in the state of Tennessee, understanding that that would be challenged in the United States Supreme Court. In doing so, we set up that challenge for the Supreme Court to determine whether or not, and I forget the case, it was a Louisiana case from a number of years ago, and I'll try to find the details on that for you. The reason that I bring this up, a Tennessee pastor who spent years traveling the country for his ministry will spend the rest of his life behind bars. A jury convicted him of, and little pictures alert. I mean, if you got little pictures in the car, this is a very sensitive story. I just want to alert you to that. I try to be sensitive to it. I know we have a good time and, we get kind of crazy around here, but this is a very, very delicate and awful story. A Tennessee pastor by the name of Benjamin Garlick, 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 35, was found guilty earlier this week on 7 counts of aggravated rape of a child, 6 counts of aggravated sexual battery, 1 count of solicitation of sexual exploitation of a minor, and 2 violations of the Tennessee Child Protection Act after a 2-week trial in Rutherford County. The former pastor was found guilty of the rape, and his wife was found guilty of facilitating the abuse. Circuit Judge Barry Tidwell sentenced Garlick to life in prison without the possibility of parole on the aggravated rape conviction. According to the Murfreesboro Police Department, he still faces sentencing on the remaining convictions on November 10. Garlick's wife, 32-year-old Chantal Garlick, was convicted of 2 counts of facilitation of aggravated rape of a child, scheduled to be sentenced November 10th. The case, thank you, Judge. I got a judge that listens to the show, and Kennedy versus Louisiana. Thank you so much, Judge. That was the case that we'll talk about that in a moment. The case began in August of 2023 when the Murfreesboro Police Department Special Victims Unit launched an investigation into the sexual abuse of a child who was 5 years old. The abuse apparently happened over several years. As detectives dug deeper, they identified 2 additional victims. Investigators also determined that, hold on just a second. Oh, joy of joys. Pardon me while I get back to the story. Investigators also determined that Chantel Garlick knowingly neglected a victim in a way that affected the child's welfare. The Murfreesboro Police Department thanks all members of the Child Protective Investigative Team, said Detective James Wilkinson, lead detective after the convictions. The children of Rutherford County are safer because of this, et cetera, et cetera. Garlick's life outside of the courtroom stood in stark contrast to the crimes for which he was convicted. Murfreesboro police said their investigation showed he had spent several years traveling as a minister, primarily focused on the Hispanic community, and that he and his wife had traveled across the country. According to WSMV television, they reported that Garlick helped run La Espada, a Murfreesboro-based ministry for Spanish speakers. Station reported that videos and images posted online showed Garlick and his sermons connected with churches in Florida, Indiana, Minnesota, and Texas. The couple also described deep family ties to the ministry in biographies, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, I bring this up. I mean, the horrific nature of these crimes is just mind-boggling. It was, and once again, thank you, Judge, for the tip. It was Kennedy versus Louisiana, which was a 2008 decision by the United States Supreme Court that held that the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause prohibits the imposition of the death penalty for a crime in which the victim did not die and the victim's death was not intended. We have passed legislation. It's my understanding it got through the General Assembly that specifically was designed to challenge that opinion of the court. And there was a petition for rehearing even after the court made the determination. But I do believe that we're in the process of attempting to push that up to the Supreme Court and challenge it. Why? You either believe in the death penalty or you don't. I understand people that don't. I disagree with them. I take very seriously the authority of the state to take someone's life. And I think all of us should take that very seriously. We shouldn't be flippant about it. The idea that the state has that ultimate responsibility and ultimate authority is a very serious thing. But I say that you either believe in the death penalty or you don't. So if you don't believe in the death penalty, I'm not necessarily talking to you right now. I am willing to talk with you. I'm willing to have the conversation with you about why I believe that in some cases that some crimes go so against the fabric of society, the fabric of civilized humanity, that the only appropriate, it's not about vengeance, it's about punishment, appropriate punishment. The only appropriate punishment for those crimes is to take the life of the individual that's convicted of committing them. Now, we don't do the death penalty right at all in the United States, because it takes far too long to facilitate it. We spend far too much money allowing these individuals to languish in our prison systems and file appeal after appeal after appeal after appeal. 30 years, it's a ridiculous process to convict and see the final punishment meted out for those who've committed some of the most egregious and heinous crimes against humanity. But I understand that there are some that don't believe the state should have that ultimate authority. And frankly, if a prison, you might be willing to snag me as one of your number if prison was actually prison, if it was the punishment that it should be. And sadly, in the United States of America, all too often, prison is not what I would want it to be for some of these offenders that commit some of the most violent, awful crimes imaginable. For those that do believe that the state, in certain circumstances, should have the authority to initiate and carry out the ultimate punishment of death, explain to me why someone repeatedly engaging in rape of a child would not be eligible for that punishment. I've long stated, and I think I'm being very generous in the line that I'm drawing here. And every time I do this, someone goes, "Oh my God," and just y'all calm down and follow me. Because I believe we could make this happen. Anyone convicted of the forcible rape of any person 12 years of age or under should be eligible for the death penalty. Period. Now, once again, that's not suggesting that it's not a serious crime and a serious offense to rape anyone, and it's not a serious crime and a serious offense to rape someone at 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 years old, someone who is a minor. But I place it there because there is no convincing me that there is any rehabilitation whatsoever outside of some spiritual salvation that is between you and God. And that's up to you to get right with God before you meet your maker on this planet. There is no redeeming the evil nature of someone that's willing to do that to a child. None. And if there is no rehabilitation, if there's no possibility that that mindset is redeemable, then what are we even doing? Plus, the nature of that crime is almost worse than death for the victims. So I fully believe that anyone convicted of a crime of this nature should be eligible for and receive the death penalty. There's no coming back from that. And you cannot convince me that life in prison is enough of a punishment. And I've long maintained this position. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can join in either via phone or via super text. Matt Murphy think sex offenders should be given death penalty upon proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If we put down pets for biting kids, why can't we do the same to sex offenders of children? No, I don't disagree with that. The Kennedy decision made it impermissible for us to pass this legislation, but I think we passed it anyway. And I believe it was the case. If I'm remembering this correctly, and this is just off the top of my head, happened about a year ago, it was Representative William Lamberth, who's a good friend of the show, that was pushing this. And we talked to him about it. And I was like, well, William, the Supreme Court has spoken on this matter, Louisiana v. Kennedy. And he said, I understand that, but it is my intention that we get this thing to the Supreme Court. It's my intention that we can get this thing overturned. It's my intention that we can see some of these lawbreakers that commit the most evil, disgusting, anti-societal crimes imaginable. I mean, things so heinous we don't want to imagine them. Those individuals should meet their proper punishment. 2934, I don't disagree with you. There is going to be a special punishment in hell for this person, unless some miracle occurs. A special punishment in hell, but before that happens, there is going to be a special punishment in jail for this person. I'd agree with that. Death penalty, period. End of the discussion. And I think I'm being overly generous setting the number at 12. And I do that understanding that there's plenty of people out there that disagree with the death penalty altogether, and certainly they will fight back against the idea of the death penalty for a non-death-related crime. I don't care. These crimes are worse than death. These crimes are worse, and they need to be treated as such. And I'm just shaking my head that something like this is happening right down the road in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's 19 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you are in pain for whatever or any reason whatsoever, what about the Wellness Institute of Nashville? They've been around, y'all, for years now. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley and the rest of the team, they've been servicing you and helping you get pain-free. How? Well, the epic spinal decompression that happens every single day at the Wellness Institute of Nashville is one way. $33 off every visit. Epic Spinal Special is happening with $33 off. Plus, they've got the new Medical Bay 1, which is pretty cool technology developed by Dr. Mitchell himself. Obviously, they've got the HydroWave, they've got E-Stim, they've got all of the modern techniques. Friends, it is all about the pain that you're experiencing. It's all about eliminating that pain without having to worry about needles, without having to consider surgery, without having to block the pain, without having to pop pills every day. They do it every day at the Wellness Institute. Go to painisbad.com, that's painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009. My name is Matt Murphy, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval. Thank you there, Mason. Mason pulling double, triple duty today. Working in the production department, working as producer of the Chris Sands Show, and now on traffic. Y'all, I'll just say this: the pain is real in the Weaver household, and I don't want to talk too much about Ken and Jen's business, but she's going through it right now, and they're working on it. They're in great hands down in Murfreesboro. They're currently trying to alleviate some of her pain, and just pray for them down there. I mean, just say a little prayer for Brother Weaver. They're going to need that, and we are certainly doing the same thing. Richard, my good friend and my good buddy from down in Alabama, has noted that in the Kennedy versus Louisiana case, and this is great stuff. So Kennedy v. Louisiana determined that if the situation did not involve death or intent to cause death, that you could not institute the death penalty against that individual, and that was per the Eighth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Well, it was a 5-4 decision when it was decided, Kennedy v. Louisiana. The 5 in the majority that decided this case are no longer on the court. 3 of the dissenters are. Chief Justice Roberts is still there, Samuel Alito, and Clarence Thomas still on the court. So you would expect that they would still be in the same position. And let me tell you, I love it. Now, Florida's a little ahead of us on this. Representative Lamberth just texted me and said, absolutely, we've got it in the pipeline and we're ready to go. I love the bill. Love it. Love everything about it, William. Florida already has a case in the appellate pipeline. So, we can certainly, if we've not completed the task, I don't know where we are in the process. I don't know if it ever got to the governor. I don't know if it got to the Senate. I don't know. In Tennessee. But the Florida case is already in the appellate pipeline, and it will ultimately get to the Supreme Court of the United States. So we only need 2 votes from Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, or Amy Coney Barrett. We already got 3. You only need 2 others out of the 3 conservatives on the court. You won't get the 3 liberals. They'll never vote for this. But we need to make this happen. Why? So that they can no longer possibly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, offend again. Why? Because the punishment should fit the nature of the crime. Why? Because child sex crimes of this nature are irredeemable. Irredeemable. Those brains that would be willing to commit these types of atrocious acts. Someone who is willing to do something like this, well, the Bible says they should be cast into the sea, right? With a millstone around their neck. 9069 writes in and says, why death? Proof they'll never do it again. Why are we tolerating this on this earth? I don't know. And it may stop some of this. The individual who has a warped brain of the sort that is willing to do this type of thing, there is no, you cannot convince me that there is any redeeming them. And if that is the case, the death penalty should obviously apply. And death penalty appellate, I've long said this too, just on the issue of the death penalty. Neil Bortz, the great Neil Bortz, who I know is still out there somewhere in his RV traveling the United States of America. He was on air for many, many years. Neil Bortz taught me what it was to be a libertarian, and one of the reasons that I identify as a libertarian is because of Bortz. He kind of informed me, he verbalized where I was in my young political philosophy, even back in my college days. That said, I heard Bortz say this to begin with, and I've carried it forward since Bortz has retired, that if you want to speed up the appellate process and still maintain, our judicial system and its integrity, you empower 3 appellate judges to sit in any capital murder trial. So if the death penalty is on the table in any capital murder trial, you have 3 appellate judges sitting in the trial and attending the trial on a daily basis. And they did not make any determinations during the trial. You have a trial judge for that. And therefore, in the event of a conviction and in the event of a sentencing of death, the defense then has 30 days to make any and all appeals immediately to that appellate panel that has sat in the trial. They don't have to review transcripts. They don't have to review anything, evidence or whatnot. They've already seen it. They sat through the trial. So you have 30 days to offer that appeal. You have another 30 days for them to respond to that appeal. That is your appellate process number 1. You go to the appeals court in the jurisdiction in which they're in, and the Supreme Court in with the jurisdiction in which they're in, and you've got a year to do each. And after that, within 2 years and several months, you should have moved through the process. And if there is no new evidence, no new information, and you don't have any decision that contradicts what the trial court determined and what the jury of one's peers determined, then you put them to death. And we could do every single one of these within 5 years. Why do we not do that? Because you have a lot of do-gooders in the United States of America that hate the death penalty and they don't want it carried out at all. And once again, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the majority of the American people that support the idea of the death penalty. If we support it, we need to demand that it is done in a timely fashion to give justice, not just to the victims in the case, that's obviously first and foremost, but to society at large. And this nonsense about somebody sitting in a jail cell for 30 years acting as a deterrent is Bravo Sierra. If you want real deterrence, kill them within 3 years of them committing the atrocious acts that they committed, that they were convicted of engaging in. And that is what I have to say about that. I've not forgotten about the profile of Jerry Green. News Channel 5 gave her a glowing report. We'll play that for you in a moment and offer you the real scoop on the Democrat gubernatorial candidate in the state of Tennessee. That's on the way next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for the Glock Store. You heard me, the Glock Store. GlockStore.com is the place to go for all things Glock Store. You can also go over to Shoot270.com. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and sign up for the Force on Force simunition that's happening at the Glock Store September 19th. Now, I told you that things would start running out. Space would start running out, and it already has happened. We only have a very few, I think 1 or 2 spaces for the afternoon slot. So if you like to sleep in on Saturday, September 19th, you better get over to the Glock Store and sign up for the 2 p.m. slot because they're almost out. They might already be out. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we've got 1 or 2 left. So we've got 2 separate classes at 9:30 and 2. And you're like, what are you talking about, Murphy? I've never heard about this. Where you been? Force on Force simunition is incredible, realistic, live action scenarios to test your marksmanship and split-second decision-making skills. You imagine being in a simulation, but it's with live people, and you have an actual Glock on your side. This is a training Glock that shoots like a chalk bullet, if you will. So you have to make a decision. You will have to determine whether or not it is time to use deadly force or not. These real-life scenarios, I've been through them, and man, let me tell you, there's nothing like it. The adrenaline is up. Our experience was insane. I managed to neutralize the threat that I had to face, and you debrief. You brief before, you debrief after. You talk about it. Only 15 slots are available, right, for each session. And there are a few available at the 9:30 time slot, but only 1 or 2 in the 2 p.m. time slot. So if you like to sleep in, you better go to glockstore.com/FOF. That's glockstore.com/FOF for the Force on Force simulation happening Saturday, September 19th at the one and only Glock Store. Jackson is not too happy with any of you. It was my duty to inform him that I slipped one in on him, as it were. And Jackson is filing for an appeal. And I'm going to give you the floor, and I'll tell you what. I'll do this for you, Jackson, because I like you. So, I had a story about a woman by the name of Monique that hid a bottle of cupcake Pinot Grigio up the old hoo-ha.
Except you didn't have that story. I had that story 3 months ago, and
did.
Matt just said, I have an update. She didn't get any jail time, but here's the story again that Jackson did. So that's a repeat.
So just put up a poll on the YouTube channel.
Oh, no, you got the YouTube chat trained.
I'm just giving you a chance. I won. Jackson had a story very similar in its nature of a woman that stuffed $3,200 in cash up the old prison purse, as it were. And Jackson has lost, and he's very upset about it. Jackson feels like that there needs to be some sort of appellate process because he thinks that I stole his story. Although it was there was an update on the story. We've established that you can do story updates. So
weak update.
She didn't get jail time. I'm happy for Monique. And for the fact, and there were some that voted for it. I mean, it was a pretty close vote. Don't get me wrong, but I think Jackson's just being a little bit of a baby, y'all. Little bit of a baby. Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's people. Look, Double M won. And they're saying, look there, right there on the YouTube chat.
With my story.
With my update. You went first.
No, I didn't.
Well, you had the choice. You let me go first.
Well, either way, I wasn't going to do an update to my story. I've seen that on Smoking Gun for 2 weeks and decided to leave it be because I had done that story.
That's an unfortunate choice of yours. Winning story there, Jackson. Winning story. Speaking of winning and losing, there will be a winner and loser come November in the gubernatorial election process. News Channel 5 seems to have it out for Senator Marsha Blackburn. Apparently, they don't like the fact that she doesn't like talking to them. I don't blame her for not wanting to talk to News Channel 5. They don't seem very fair-minded. This report went out last week, and I've been holding on to it since then. A little audio video here, Jackson. Here's the News Channel 5 report on the Democrat candidate, Jerry Green. Just listen to how appealing this candidate sounds.
If you can't stand up and say what you stand for, then you don't deserve the job.
That's Jerry Green, who won the Democratic primary.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. I talk to Tennesseans every day.
Nobody cares about this state more than a mother who's raising 3 children in this state.
I just interviewed her, and here are some of the top things you need to know. First of all, she's very eager to debate, something Senator Blackburn seemingly will not do.
The voters deserve to have us stand on a stage and go back and forth about how we would handle big issues in this state. And the fact that she won't, it speaks volumes.
Let me just pause it here. There has been no indication that Marsha Blackburn has not or would not agree to a debate between now and November. So they're setting up sort of a false premise. She did not agree to a debate during the primary. And you know what? Marsha Blackburn may not debate. Y'all know where I'm at on debates, but it is way premature for them to present a news report that Marsha Blackburn, quote unquote, will not debate.
If you have a record of having sponsored over 500 bills and only having 7 of them pass, I wouldn't want to debate on my record either.
She's a fierce advocate for reproductive health.
I am
abortion for everyone and abortion on demand. That's what Ben Hall meant.
Absolutely for women having control over their own bodies and doctors being able to do their jobs.
And on data centers, which is a very hot topic here in Tennessee, she takes a tougher stance than Senator Blackburn.
I think we need to put a moratorium on while we figure out the laws around them. There is nothing more precious or needed in our world than air and water. We literally can't live without them.
Air and water are 2 very important things. I don't necessarily know what air has to do with any of this when it comes to data centers. Certainly, water usage is a concern. I mean, there's a pretty big data center up in Gallatin, and it uses a lot of water up in Gallatin, but it's done so fairly successfully. But let's let them continue.
And Green is pro-green.
I am for legalizing recreational and medicinal uses of it and taxing it.
Unlike Senator Blackburn, Green is not super well known across the state. She is really well known in Memphis, where she holds several leadership positions. And she's quick to push back against the idea Tennessee is a Republican state.
In my lifetime, we've had Republican governors, Republican senators, and we're really much more a non-voting state because of how gerrymandered the Republican supermajority has made us. When you have been born and raised to believe that this is the party and the other side is evil, we're pitted against each other intentionally.
Okay, so that was a News Channel 5 report by Ben Hall that happened last week. It was such a fluff piece. Ben did not, I mean, it just showed Jerry Green regurgitating campaign lines. It wasn't an exchange or a back and forth. There was this staged beginning. Just hold on. Let me just. This staged moment seemed very, very odd.
Democratic primary.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. I talk to Tennesseans every day.
I mean, why are you including that in this piece? This is supposedly a news piece. That was a setup moment that seemed to be out of a campaign commercial. Excuse me, may I ask you a question? Why, of course, I talk to Tennesseans every single day. Why are you including that? That's fluff. That's a campaign commercial. That's not a legitimate news story. Now, I'd love to talk to Jerry Green, and we're going to endeavor to talk to Jerry Green at some point on the show. I hope that she's willing to come on and talk to us. What old Ben over there at News Channel 5, an organization that seems to be led around by the nose by their quote-unquote investigative reporter who is a coward, the cowardly Phil Williams, has blocked me on social media platforms for having the audacity to ask him questions and to demand that he fact check himself when he gets basic facts and information wrong. And for that, I have been blocked by the cowardly Phil Williams. That said, Jerry Green wants to provide, and this is on her website, she wants to provide on day one, this is her day one plan. She wants to provide $10 million of TANF money to waive security deposits and give affordable housing for 100,000 Tennessee families. So she wants to use TANF money in the form of $10 million and make it easier for people to get to affordable housing. Okay? She wants to use $50 million of TANF money. That's the Needy Family Fund. I don't know how. Would you look up how much TANF, TANF, how much TANF money does Tennessee have? Because she's using a lot of it on day one, buddy. $50 million of TANF money to clear the wait list for every family, ensuring no parent has to choose between a paycheck and their child. So she wants to give free child care to Tennessee families that are in need using state and federal money. She wants to use $10 million of TANF money to buy up and erase predatory debt for more than 100,000 Tennesseans. Medical debt, that is. You get a figure?
$191 million yearly.
Okay, so we're already using $70 million of that on day one, but I'm not done. She wants to sign an executive order to ensure doctors can practice women's health care without fear of prosecution or prison. In other words, abortion, I suppose, on demand. If we have Jerry on the show, we will ask her at what point she wants to cut off abortion practices for the citizens of the state of Tennessee for the purpose of saving the children. See what she says there. On day one, she says that as governor of the state, she would stop the cooperation between the Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE in order to protect our, quote, immigrant neighbors from state-sponsored harassment. In other words, she wants to use the power of the state to protect illegal aliens who are currently in the state. She goes on that she will appoint a commissioner of education with classroom experience and a commissioner of health grounded in science. Okay. Oh, this one's a good one. She wants to formally, on day one, she will formally notify Core Civic that Tennessee will not renew private prison contracts. And she will notify Ballard Health of our intent to end any state-sanctioned monopoly in East Tennessee. So then that begs the question to the gubernatorial prospect, where are you going to send? I don't know how many, I could easily find this out. I don't know how many inmates are currently in Core Civic facilities. Where are all those inmates going to go? Are we releasing inmates to make room? Because, I mean, I once again, how long are those contracts? You're notifying that you're not renewing the contracts. Where are all those prisoners going to go? Are we going to immediately begin building state-run prisons as opposed to these other facilities that are run by Core Civic, or what? I guess maybe these are our prison facilities and we're going to, I don't know who owns the prison facilities themselves. Maybe somebody does and they can tell me. But I'm just confused what you're going to replace that with. Are you just letting people out of prison or what? She wants to keep TVA public. She will sign an executive order affirming that the Tennessee Valley Authority would remain a public utility that serves the people, not a privatized entity for profit. What? The TVA is managed by the President of the United States of America through a board appointed by the President of the United States of America. I don't know that any executive order has the ability to do that through the governor's office. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 9, she will sign an executive order to advocate for a statewide data center moratorium and work to stop state incentives for the construction of data centers. And finally, she will declare a maternal health crisis and mobilize immediate state resources and funding by declaring a maternal health crisis to expand access to high-quality prenatal and postpartum care. So those are her Those are her day one promises. She also wants to support fully funded classrooms, expand Medicaid. Oh, she wants red flag laws, gun locks, and other Second Amendment violations. She wants clean air, safe water, and climate smart policies for protection of our land and our children. And then, of course, paid family leave, affordable child care, living wages, because families deserve more than survival. They deserve stability and dignity. So Jerry Green is very much a leftist in terms of her policy proposals. I don't know that I would call her a socialist, but maybe. Perhaps we could find out together when she visits us on the show. I have no doubt that Jerry Green will be willing to come on the show. She says she's willing to debate anyone, anywhere, anytime. So surely she'll come on the show for a conversation with us. It is 48 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Nobody cares.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Craft Body Scan. You know, the number is 615-436-1000. That's an easy number to remember. 615-436-1000. I also have a website for you that's pretty easy to remember as well. TogetherWeScan.com. TogetherWeScan.com, but you got to put in promo code MATT50. That's promo code MATT50. I know, Dan's got this promo code DAN50. I don't like it. I like promo code MATT50 for Craft Body Scan. Why? Because Craft Body Scan works, because it catches things before you even feel any symptoms, because it can help you alleviate whatever concerns you have about issues that you might have going on. If you've got family issues, genetic or hereditary issues that you know is a part of your family, such as heart disease or lung issues, they can take care of it. And right now, it's never been cheaper. I mean, friends, we're talking $99 for a couple's heart and lung scan that's normally over $2,000. It's an amazing value, and it's available for you at Craft Body Scan right now. Go to Craft Body Scan's website, TogetherWeScan.com. Put in promo code MATT50, and off you go. And be sure to tell them when you stop by and enjoy the incredible technology that is the CT scan at Craft Body Scan that Matt Murphy sent you to Craft Body Scan. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, The Matt Murphy Show. Winding down another edition. Let's play a game with Jackson. I want to see of the I just saw this stat, right? It's the top 10 countries with the most dogs in the world. You sit dogs occasionally?
Yes.
Yeah. You got a dog?
Dano.
Little Dano. Ms. Beasley's at home.
Miss Weasley.
She likes to roll and stink. Gets in a lot of trouble. She rolls and stink. Loves to roll and stink. Had to give her a bath yesterday. Rolled and stink. Not happy. Not happy. Larry Munson doesn't roll and stink, but likes to keep two balls in his mouth. So, Jackson, I got the top 10 countries with the most dogs in the world. And I want to see how many of the nations that you can get.
Brazil.
Brazil is number 2 at 67.8 million dogs. 67.8 million dogs. Number
Mexico.
2. Mexico is number 4 at 43.8 million dogs. You're doing good so far.
United States.
The United States is the number 1 dog country on planet Earth with over 90 million dogs accounted for. So we got number 1, number 2, and number 4. You're 3 for 3 too, buddy. That's pretty good.
Russia.
Oh, no, wait. Russia's number 7.
China.
China's number 3. Man, this is easier than I thought it would be.
Germany.
Now, I think Germany's number 11. You just missed. Whomp. You just missed Germany. Great Britain. The United Kingdom is number 8 with 12.7 million. All right, so let me just go through the ones you've gotten so far. You're doing pretty good. Have you seen this list?
I'm just throwing countries out, brother.
All right, so USA number 1, Brazil number 2, China number 3, Mexico number 4. You've not gotten number 5 or number 6. Russia number 7, UK number 8. You've not gotten number 9. You've not gotten number 10. Those are probably, there's a lot of dogs in those countries for the bad reasons. Number 11 is Germany, and you got Germany. So, can I give you a little hint?
Yeah.
I mean, let's think nations with large populations.
China.
You got China at number 3. You already done that one.
Oh, Japan.
Japan is number 6 with 20 million dogs.
South Korea.
That's because of the comment that I made. South Korea is down at number 19. Can we give you the last 2?
Yeah.
Coming in at the last 3, I should say. Coming in at number 10, the Philippines.
Wasn't going to guess the Philippines.
Coming in at number 9, Thailand.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Oh, was it? And then at number 5, the 3 of the 10. Yeah, it's pretty good. 7 out of 10 with your 8th guess being number 11. That's pretty good. Coming in at number 5, India.
Oh.
Big country. Big dog country over there, India. But the United States of America, well represented with over 90 million dogs. If you don't have a dog in your life, you all need to get a dog. How old's Dano? Why have I never met Dano, by the way? I mean, what's up with that? I mean,
he's a sweet little fella.
You don't want to expose him to the awfulness that is Matt Murphy? You think I spoiled him?
He gets upset when you yell and scream.
Oh, really? Sharon writes in, I don't think that's the Chinese. Sharon wants to know if the Chinese eat their dogs. I don't know. I run away from those cultural norms in those countries that do that sort of thing because I don't want to think about it. Just don't want to think about it. TB says South Korea number 1 except for on the menu. Yes, I hear you. Jackson named his dog after Dan Mandis. What a brown noser. I think Dano was probably named
before.
What's Dano? How did Dano get his name? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Did you name him?
I did not. Oh, no. So we got him when he was like 2, and his name was Dansby, and we thought that sounded like a trust fund dog, so we shortened it to Dano.
A trust fund?
Dansby.
Hello, Dan's Bear.
Yeah, that's what he's short. He's
Dan's
Dano
Bear.
now.
Dan's Bear. Dano. I like Dano better. Well, Mrs. Beasley was from A Family Affair, which is a show before your time, but
I thought she was from Harry Potter, Mrs. Weasley.
that's not her. No, it's not Mrs. Weasley. It's Mrs. Beasley, and it's Larry Munson. You know where Larry Munson got his name from?
Munford and Sons.
It's not. That's not right. Well, I wanted to do that instead of depressing you at the end of the show, talking about more depressing stuff. Hopefully, we'll have a better day tomorrow. No Ken tomorrow. He's going to take care of his wife, and good for him. We're praying for you, brother Ken. We love you, and we appreciate you. Jay Harper will be in for Ken Weaver tomorrow on News, and I think they've moved some things around tomorrow morning. Regarding who will be doing news tomorrow morning. One way or the other, find out bright and early at 5 a.m. with Dan Madison, Nashville's Morning News. Chris and Chad Benson, then yours truly. For Jackson Williams, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.